Had 3 other people.
Or landlords looking to fleece a tenant.
Her girlfriend started texting really nasty texts saying she needed more money, probably for drugs.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Betty Frazier is suing her former roommate, Kathy Anderson, and her friend Terry Worley for stealing her belongings and making threats.
Order. All rise. Yes, case number 354 on the calendar in the matter of Frazier versus Anderson Worley.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Ms. Frazier, you were renting a room, according to your complaint, from one of the defendants.
I'm Betty.
I know. You're Ms. Frazier.
Mm-hmm.
You were renting a room from which one of you? And your last name is?
Anderson.
From Miss Anderson. Miss Anderson, how did you find the plaintiff as a roommate?
I've known her for a while, and she went in and had surgery done, and she had nobody to take care of her after the surgery. So I volunteered her to come to my home and
Who do you work for?
I'm a massage therapist.
Miss Frazier, and how do you support yourself?
I have Social Security.
How long have you known Miss Anderson?
A couple of years, but our
Where did
kids
you
went
meet
to
her?
school together.
Where did you meet her?
Actually, in Pollock Pines a few years back.
When did you begin renting a room from them?
The end of May.
And how much was your rent?
$300 and half the utilities.
At some point in June, you were leaving. You were going out of town for a while.
Yes.
And according to you, you left the rent. You went to the bank and you took out cash
Yes.
to leave for June's rent. Are you okay? Do you want to sit
I have
down?
my witness here that can testify for that.
About what?
About leaving the rent money.
Who's your witness?
Crystal.
How is she related to you?
She's not. She just gave me a ride to go get the money, and she witnessed me putting it in the envelope on the sink.
Your last name?
Crystal Encinas.
How do you know?
My mom's her in-home service worker. She's the one that does caregiving for her. My mom was unable to take her that day. I was able to get off work, and I took her around 6:30. It was June 3rd, right before she was leaving. We went to Safeway and took her to the ATM. She's unable to carry groceries in, so I took in water and put it on the counter, and as she was doing that, she said, "Oh, let me remember to put the rent," and I saw her put in a pink envelope and put it on the counter next to the water, and then I left. At the residence that she was living with, Kathy.
So you just left her. She says, I have to leave rent money.
Yeah, she said, I'm going to leave this, because I reminded her, I said, don't forget to leave it on the counter, because she was leaving the next day with her mom, and that's kind of what my mom does, or with her daughter, excuse me, to fly out, because her sister had passed away. And so I left after I made sure that all her groceries were put away and everything, so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, now, at some point, it is your claim, Miss Anderson, that the place was ransacked and robbed. And was that when your property was taken, as well as Miss Frazier's?
Yes.
During that robbery?
Yes.
You actually think Miss Frazier was the one who stole all that property?
Yes.
Doesn't look to me as if she can carry away a whole bunch of property.
She had 3 other men that came to the house.
Who saw that?
Her daughter told my son.
Did you have a conversation with her daughter?
Yes, I did.
What's her daughter's name?
Kathy.
What's your daughter's phone number?
530-88.
Do you know if that's her phone number?
Yes.
It is?
Yes.
Conversation with her daughter, Kathy.
I don't know the date.
Was that after the Anderson apartment was robbed?
Yes.
What made you call Kathy?
I didn't call her. She called me, and she wanted to thank me for a game that I gave her. And I was like, what game? And she goes, sprint car video game. And I told her I didn't leave no game there. And she goes, well, there's a game here that you left me. And I was like, no. And she goes, well, there's some other things also that I think might be yours. That's when she told me about the items that were taken from the house.
Well, she didn't know that they were taken from the house.
Well, she had a...
She didn't know that they were taken with that, but she knew. Did you move in with your daughter?
I lived with my daughter before I rented.
After?
After, yes.
You lived with your daughter?
Yes.
Are you living with your daughter, Kathy, now?
No.
No. Who are you living with now?
I'm living by myself now.
Who does Kathy live with?
Her grandmother passed, and she's living in her grandmother's house right now in the Bay Area.
Who owns that house?
Her grandmother.
Oh, her grandmother's dead. So now who owns
I'm
the
not
house?
sure.
What?
Probably her son. I'm not sure.
And when did she move into the house?
She left about April.
And your house was robbed sometime in June or July?
August.
In August. Where was she living in August?
Bay Area.
In her grandmother's house. Did you see her?
I haven't seen her since.
I spoke to her, allegedly, Mr. Gertz, and I'm not accepting this for the truth of it, but I'm trying to figure out which team you are, the good guys or the bad guys. When you spoke to her and she said she had things in the house, what house?
Her house.
In the Bay Area?
No. Where? At her mobile home in Placerville.
She have a mobile home?
We bought a mobile home together. She moved out. I stayed there.
She moved out when?
In April.
Did she ever come back?
No.
Well, you weren't living there.
I had left.
Because you had surgery.
Because we were going to sell the house. I moved in with her, and things didn't work out, so I came back to the mobile. And in the meantime, her grandmother got sick, and she went to the Bay Area.
Is what you're telling me, Mr. Gertz, that her daughter Kathy related to you that her mother and 3 men took property from the home? I want you to be very careful what you tell me.
Yes and no. She called me and told me that...
she had the video game.
Yes, the video game, two Xboxes, and a stereo receiver that I had in my room.
You live there also?
Yes.
Okay, and what did you say?
I was like, really? And she's like, yeah. So, like, a couple days went by, and I called Betty, and I was like, why'd you take my stuff, you know? I had nothing to do with what's going on.
Which one is your mother?
Kathy.
What was going on between them, Mr. Gertz?
Actually, I don't really know, you know, because I want to stay out of it, but I know that my stuff got taken.
Now, what was going on between the plaintiff and your mom?
They were disputing.
Disputing what?
Money that was supposed to be left there, and it wasn't left there.
You mean this cash for the money for the rent?
Yes.
So now I have you speaking to Kathy and some stuff that was yours turned up in the mobile home.
Yes.
Got it. Now, she didn't take all this stuff.
No.
Who did?
I don't know. From what she told me, that she had three people that came and helped her.
Who told you that?
Betty.
That's Betty.
Yes.
Now, so that makes my life easier. Tell me when you had this conversation with Betty. You said, why would you take my stuff?
Right.
Because I didn't do anything to you. I'm not having a dispute with my mother over the rent that she allegedly left, that somebody else took. Why did you take my stuff? What did she say?
That she didn't do it, that the guys that helped her, whatever, might have grabbed it. She would
The
try
guys
to
that helped her
get her stuff.
So she had guys come and help her move her stuff.
Well, she had to because
And-
she don't really, you know, she doesn't move too good, you know?
No, I know. But she said to you, the guys that I may have had that helped me move. Is that what she said to you?
Yes.
When did she have this conversation with you?
A couple days after I talked with Kathy. I'm not too good with dates, but it was like a week after I talked with Kathy.
And where did this conversation take place?
Over the phone.
You called her?
Yes.
She answered you?
Yes.
So this is what your lawsuit is. Your lawsuit is that somebody took your stuff.
I went to the Bay Area to my daughter,
I understand. Your lawsuit accuses the defendants of taking your stuff.
Yes.
Tell me when they took your stuff and what proof you have that they took your stuff.
Okay, I have pictures of my belongings in her house. Okay?
Yeah. And?
I went to the Bay Area with a suitcase.
I don't care.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You wrote to her, all your stuff is at Goodwill in Folsom.
I told her to go look at Goodwill in Folsom.
No, that's not what you wrote. No, that's not what you wrote. You wrote, all your stuff is at Goodwill in Folsom, and then you called her a name.
And later today,
This is your first car?
No, second.
What happened?
Sorry. Did they slip through?
Don't speak.
Okay, sorry.
I'm just waiting for her to turn off the phone, which is actually what you were told to do before.
Okay,
Can't you
power
just
off.
turn it off?
real cases, real people.
Former roommate Kathy Anderson and Kathy's friend Terry Worley stole her property and threatened her. Kathy is countersuing for rent, property damage, and stolen belongings.
Yeah. What proof?
That's all I have.
Well, that's
She
not-
kept everything for something that she needed extra cash. Her girlfriend started texting me really nasty texts saying she needed more money For what? Probably for drugs. But she needed more money, and I told her I'd already paid her money.
Okay. Is that the proof that you have pictures of your stuff, and when you came back, your stuff wasn't there?
She texts me and tells me that she has my things. I'm on a train.
Now, just a second. I would like to see the text where she says she has your things.
Right here.
Do you want to see if you can get her a stool or something first?
And here is a police report, and after...
No, I don't want a police report. I want to see the text
right there
where she says she has your stuff. Who's Terry? Well, you said to her all of her stuff is in Goodwill.
No, that was the day after, because
Just a second.
I told her...
All your stuff is at Goodwill in Folsom.
That's not true.
Okay.
I'm just asking you.
I said that.
You wrote to her, all your stuff is at Goodwill in Folsom.
I told her to go look at Goodwill in Folsom.
No, that's not what you wrote.
Well, I thought that was.
No, that's not what you wrote. You wrote, all your stuff is at Goodwill in Folsom, and then you called her a name.
Get it right.
I called her a lot of names. I'm sorry, but she wouldn't respond to any of our phone calls for 5 weeks.
She said, all your stuff is at Goodwill in Folsom.
I got her to respond that way. She wouldn't answer the phone for anybody. And then I have text where she said she wasn't coming back. She told Kathy she wasn't coming back. It's in my text.
Mr. Gertz, I have one question for you. Did you ever get your stuff back from Kathy?
Yes.
You got it all back?
Yes.
What did you get back?
2 Xbox games and my stereo receiver.
Did you physically go to the trailer to get them back? On what date?
I don't know.
So that's why you're not a plaintiff in this cross complaint, because you got all your stuff back.
Basically.
What's basically? What is that basically as a filler word?
I got my stuff back.
When you went to get your stuff back, was any property there that belonged to your mother? Is not an answer.
I want to say that there were some blankets that my grandmother made that I seen, some Afghans or something like that.
But you got your stuff back.
Yes, ma'am.
Your case is dismissed. We're done. Thank you.
Judge, excuse, you may step out.
10 Oxycontins a day, so she's probably misconstrued.
She wanted more money.
Everything was fine. She just left to go to the funeral and never came back.
That's why I was moving out.
I provoked her pretty violently, verbally.
I can't trust anybody.
Just can't trust everybody.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Cox versus Morgan. Step forward.
Gloria Cox is suing Adrian Morgan for a refund of a car down payment.
This is not a difficult case. Miss Cox, you wanted to get a used car for your granddaughter?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Morgan had a used car lot. He was somebody that you knew. He had been a friend, contacted him, and ultimately went in with your granddaughter and purchased a car. On what date?
That was on the 22nd of September, Your Honor.
Of this year?
Yes, ma'am, 2016.
Okay. And the purchase price of the car was $3,200?
Originally, he had came to, with all the taxes and stuff, $3,700.
$3,700?
Yes, ma'am.
And you gave him a $500 deposit?
Yes, ma'am.
And signed the paperwork?
Yes, ma'am.
And your granddaughter, this is your granddaughter, she drove the car off the lot?
The next day, she picked up the car.
So that would be on September 23rd?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you with her when she picked up the car?
No, I wasn't.
Stand up here a second. Ms. Jones, when you picked up the car on September 23rd, where did you go?
After I picked up the car? Mm-hmm. I think I went home.
I want you to think. It wasn't so long ago. Where did you go? You picked up the car. What time did you pick up the car? Don't answer for her.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
This is the 4 corners of the contract. He could tell you, I'm going to guarantee this car for your lifetime. If it doesn't say that in this written contract, it doesn't exist. It's called puffing.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Gloria Cox says Adrian Morgan sold her an Acura that turned out to be a lemon. She is suing for the return of her deposit.
Okay. What time did you pick up the car?
After I got out of school. So it was about 2 or 3. I told him I'll be there.
2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
And this is your first car?
No, second.
What happened?
Sorry. Did they slip around?
Don't speak.
Okay, sorry.
I'm just waiting for her to turn off the phone, which is actually what you were
I'm
told to do
sorry.
before.
Okay,
Can't you
power
just
off.
turn it off?
Power off.
What happened to your first car?
The engine went out. It was
Just a second.
overheated. Okay.
The engine went out with the first car that you had. After how long?
Maybe a month after.
1 month.
I didn't go with my aunt to buy it. She bought it for me.
Is this your aunt or your grandmother?
This is my grandmother.
grandmother. So your aunt bought you the other car, and you didn't go with her. She gave you that car. You had a short period of time, and the engine blew.
Yes.
And when was that?
It was in June.
So you were without a car for a couple of months, and your grandmother pitched in and bought you this car. Now you have a new car that you want to show off. So you picked up the car, and now I want you to think, where did you go?
To get the oil changed.
Why did you go and get the oil changed?
Because my uncle told me that when I first get a car, I should always get an oil change and the tune-up. So I went to Valvoline and got the oil change.
You went to who?
Valvoline.
Okay, so you went to a place and had them work on the car.
Yes.
And you drove there.
Yes.
And do you remember how long they worked on the car?
It was probably for like 15 minutes. It wasn't that long.
And then where did you go?
Just driving around.
Did you pick up any friends?
Yes, I had friends with me. They was already with me.
They went with you to pick up the car?
One friend did, yes.
And then did you pick up other friends?
Not that same day.
The next day?
Yes.
And how many friends did you pick up the next day?
2.
Was the next day a school day?
It was a school day, but it was senior skip day.
What does that mean?
That's the day you don't go to school and you go to the beach, but I never went to the beach.
A skip day, they call it?
Yes.
It's okay. So the next day you had, which is now the 24th, right? September 24th, you took 3 of your friends and went to skip day. Where did you go?
We never got to go to the beach because my car was acting up. And plus my dad said no. So we just drove around, basically.
So you drove around. Where did you drive to?
Oak Ridge side of town.
And how many miles is that away from where you picked up the girls?
I don't know, maybe like...
How long did it take you to get there?
10, 15 minutes.
Can I see the contract, please? So what happened is ultimately within, I don't know, a couple of days, a week, the car blew. You again had trouble with an engine with the car. And you brought the car, Miss Cox, back to Mr. Morgan, and you want your deposit back.
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Yeah, you don't get your deposit back. This car is sold as is. It says right here in the contract.
Yes, even though, Your Honor, he promised after I told him it broke down the second day after she got this car, and she took it to get an oil change, and they said they already had an oil leak.
Just a second.
In it.
As is.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what your contract says. As is.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Go ahead.
When I went up there with my friend to go pick up the car the same day, he said, if you have any problems with this car, you can come back.
I don't care. This is the written contract. This is the 4 corners of the contract. He could tell you, I'm going to guarantee this car for your lifetime. If it doesn't say that in this written contract, which is the 4 corners of the contract, it doesn't exist. It's called puffing. Have any problem with the car? Bring it right back and I'll take care of it. So that was a very expensive 2 days you drove around in this car. And the next time you buy a car, I suggest you take it to a mechanic. You make that arrangement and you let a mechanic look at it and say, now I'll buy the car. But if you sign a bill of sale and a contract, and this bill of sale and this contract says, as is, that's how you purchase the car. So fortunately, you didn't pay him any more money, and he has no counterclaim. So that was a very expensive 2 days. It cost your grandmother $500. We're done. Thank you.
Judge, excuse me, step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I thought that was pretty dirty of you.
Well, I sold her a good car.
You guaranteed me you would give her a reliable ride. $50 more to get an engine.
I asked her to pay for the motor, and we installed it free.
Money has no name, no friend on it.
Can you please everybody?
You were planning a party for your daughter.
A quinceañera for us is very, very big.
This mom invited hundreds for the big day.
You were paying $17.80 per person. That sounds like quite a bargain.
She didn't provide me for 500 people because we were short.
But it was more than this party planner bargained for.
It was 660 people.
Did you have 660 people there?
No, I didn't.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Leticia Bermejo is suing event planner Blanca Yepes for breaching their contract regarding a party for her daughter's 15th birthday.
Order. All rise. It's case number 334 on the calendar in the matter of Bermejo versus Yapez.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Siéntese, por favor.
Ms. Bermejo, you were planning celebrating her 15th birthday.
Yes,
And that's a big deal.
a very big deal for us.
And you retained the defendant to coordinate that party.
Yes,
This lawsuit says that she breached your contract, that she didn't provide the services that you had contracted for. You want your money back plus a lot of money for aggravation.
correct.
The defendant says that you actually owe her money, that she gave you exactly what you were supposed to have, but you had an additional 100 people at the party that you were not contracted for. So she had to hire additional security, et cetera. She had to bring additional people in. First, I'd like to know, on what date was this party planned?
December 26, 2015.
The venue where you were supposed to have it, where was that?
That was in Anaheim.
Who found the venue?
I contracted Blanca to actually.
Just a second. The person who found the venue was the defendant.
Yes.
The contract that you had with her, was that in writing?
Yes, it is.
I'd like to see it. So the entire total of everything that she was supposed to provide, she was to provide the venue.
Yes, she was.
And the tables and chairs.
Yes.
And the food.
Yes.
Tablecloths, decorations for the table.
Yes.
All of that.
Yes.
You gave her a $500 deposit.
That's correct.
And this is wrong, by the way. If it's $8,000 and you gave her a $500 deposit, a total due is not $8,900. Somebody changed this. Who changed this 4 to a 9?
She did.
Did you change this 4 to a 9?
No.
Well, somebody did, but the math is wrong. So you owed her, after the deposit, $8,400.
Yeah.
Did you pay her the $8,400?
I did.
When did you pay her the $8,400?
I paid it 2 weeks prior to the event.
Any beverages?
No, we bought the beverages.
So you purchased. So she was providing the food, cake, venue, tables, chairs, decorations, etc., at 500 people for $17.80 a person.
Yes.
That sounds like quite a bargain. How many people did you actually have at the event?
515 people.
Did you notify her that you were going to have extra people?
Well, I said, what if there's extra people coming in? She said if it wasn't a lot, it would be fine with them.
Did you have that conversation with her?
We had that conversation, and I clearly told her that the max capacity was 500 people, including the quinceañera and the chambelanes, which was an honor table for like 10 people extra.
The quinceañera is the...
The quinceañera is the lady who's being celebrated, her for the dance and all that.
Got it.
And that's like an honor table, which usually is 10 chairs extra, besides the 50 chairs for the 500 people, 10 chairs in each table.
And do you rent those from someone?
I own them.
You own them?
Yes.
Because this is your business.
Yes, it is.
So you own the tables and chairs and
Yes,
tablecloths
correct.
and everything else. Great. And who prepares the food?
A catering company does, and sometimes we do if we only have one party. If we have 4 parties, a catering company does for us.
Who prepared the food for this event?
A catering company.
Were you personally at this event?
I was. I left from 7 to 8 to pick up the cake that, if you see in the contract, we actually gift her the cake for the 500 people.
Okay. So what was the problem with the event?
The problem with the event is because a quinceañera for us is very, very big.
Just tell me what the problem was.
Okay, the problem was that the bartender was never showed up.
Okay.
Her husband was the bartender, was inappropriately dressed, had a jar with said tips, which people were actually putting tips when he would make the beverage. My husband showed him how to actually do the beverages, or otherwise he wouldn't have been doing it. My daughter witnessed when he was drinking the beverages that we bought, okay?
What else?
Another thing, he was selling our beverages that we provide. Big deal for us. It was holding onto tubes. It was inappropriately, I have proofs, inappropriately stand. The table didn't even fit the chambelanes and the damas that I told her that we were going to have in
I don't understand what that is.
Okay, there's a main table.
The main table that you described for your daughter,
Yes.
and it's the men,
young
men who are going to be dancing with her.
Which is the main table where they sit.
I understand. Okay. And what was wrong with that table?
She didn't put enough chairs. She did not put it the appropriate way where she told us she was going to do to that main table. It was only a curtain on the back of it. That's the only thing. No other thing was done to it. The tables, some of them had 10 chairs, some of them had 8 chairs. And there were only 35 tables, which I set the hall for 500 people, which should have been 50 tables.
You're not getting your money back. She prepared a party. She fed 515 people. She paid for the venue. You used her property. And if there were little things that went wrong that you weren't satisfied with, you'd say, you know what? If somebody asks me again whether I would recommend her, no, I was not happy. I wasn't happy that her husband was the bartender. I wasn't happy that he had a tip jar there. All you have to do is to have a tip jar at this kind of party. You don't get your money back. Your daughter had her party. She paid for the catering for 515 people. You used the venue. Do you understand all of that?
Well, yeah, but she didn't provide me for 500 people because we were short. We were short. She fed her actually workers from the food that we paid for.
So what? When you make an event, most of the time, the help at one point or another is entitled to a meal. When did this party start?
It started at 5. They opened the hall.
Until when?
Till 12 o'clock.
So from 5 to 12, you had the venue. Did you have music?
I did.
And from 5 to 12, I assume that people ate and drank?
Yes.
You don't get your money back. Now I'm going to get to your counterclaim.
Your Honor, we put 50 tables with 10 chairs on each table.
Listen to me. I just explained to her she's not getting her money back.
But I want to explain my counter side.
Okay.
Not even enough of that. Not even with the sign that says 500 people. Not even with the 10 chairs. She brought in 10 tables, folding rectangle tables, and 100 chairs. Put them all around the hall.
Do you have pictures of that?
I have pictures of one side of the hall. I couldn't take pictures of the whole side, but we had to call extra security. Stocking, these tables are not mine. Can you ask her if these tables are hers? They have no linens, no chair covers. She wouldn't let any of my people to pick up those beer cans off the tables because she decided to recycle them after the party was due. So they were standing there for 8 hours, and the party started at 4 according to our contract. And she got in the hall at 2 p.m. because her husband was the DJ. He needed time to set up the equipment, but it was like more than 50 people around the hall, like if the party was starting. And they stay until 2 in the morning picking up all those trash cans that she wanted to recycle. And we had to stay until 4 in the morning cleaning the hall after her party was due.
You don't get any. You don't get any money from her.
I worked extra.
Don't do another party for her. She doesn't get any money back. Somebody want to show me a video? Is there a video that somebody wants to show?
Yes, there's a video of the 660 people that she had in the hall. Because it was 660
Just a second. Did somebody do a count?
Yes, they did. The security people did 600
Well, I don't know that. Is anybody here from security?
We tried to, but they said we can only have 2 witnesses.
Do you have 660 people there?
No, I didn't. I did not have that many.
How many people did you have?
Your Honor.
515.
515.
Your Honor.
What?
She told the producer that she had 600 guests in her contract until she found the contract and saw 500. She told my worker that it was 600.
Just a second. That's very easy. Did you tell the person who put this case together that you had 600 people? I'm going to bring them in here.
I told her 500.
No. Did you tell her 600 is what the defendant is saying? Did you tell the producer who produced this case that you had 600 people there at any time until you found the contract, which said 500 people? It's very easy. I'm going to call the producer from the control room.
Yes, I did.
You did tell her that you had 600 people. Ah, perfect. See, that's easy. My producer doesn't have to come and testify, which would have been a first, even for me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
a branch of your tree fell and damaged her property. You acknowledge that.
There's pictures. Why would I deny that?
But then I don't understand your response to what I'm saying to you.
That's how I feel.
I don't care how you feel. What you're feeling is unimportant to me. I just told you what the law is.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Letitia Bermejo says contract regarding a party for their daughter. Blanca is countersuing for the cost of a cleaning crew and punitive damages.
Now, $17.80 times 100. $1,780. That's what you owe her. You owe her because you had 100 more people, not 15, 100. Judgment on the counterclaim for $1,780. We're done here. Case is dismissed.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I thought that it was very abusive from her to even come and file a lawsuit against me when I never asked for a penny back.
Not what we were expecting.
And it's sad that the parents trying to get some money back from their expenses.
Be careful with the people that you actually get the venue from.
Bring this up and make a beautiful party into a nightmare, you know?
It's a total disaster. Never contract her.
Never again.
And she promises stuff she's not going to give you.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Davies versus Dunn Beams. Step forward.
Marlene Davies is suing her neighbors, Bert Dunn and girlfriend Amy Beams, for property damage as the result of a dead tree.
Miss Davies, how long have you and the defendants been neighbors?
Ever since I moved up there in 2000.
So long.
11 years.
You had a tree on your property.
Yes, ma'am.
That tree, or branch of that tree that was on your property, fell over and damaged the fence and a rabbit hutch that was on the plaintiff's property.
That's correct.
And she's suing for a nominal amount to fix both the fence and to reconstruct the rabbit hutch. If I'm reading your answer right, you acknowledge that the tree was leaning over on her property, and I don't think you even deny the fact that some of that tree, if not all of it, was dead. What kind of tree was it?
It was a scrub oak. It was not dead.
Was that branch dead?
No, it was not.
Do you have photographs of the tree?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
I'd like to take a look at it. Your defense seems to be if Miss Davies wanted to trim your tree, then she should have done that.
Absolutely.
And then she wouldn't have had the damage.
Correct.
Right? This is where you are mistaken. Your last name is?
Dunn.
Dunn? Is this the tree that you're talking about?
No, ma'am. In the background.
Oh, I got it. The one that's covered with vines. Is it covered with vines?
May I step up there and point out?
Circle.
And then
It's hard for me to tell whether it's...
Well, she said there's another picture where you can see the top of it that it broke off.
And, Your Honor...
Oh, this one.
Right.
So it was a big branch that fell off. Okay, I got it. I got it.
Big trunk of the tree.
So this is where your thinking, sir, is wrong.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You're being annoying. Because I don't understand why somebody would want to interrupt when it appears as if your side is winning.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Weren't you listening to what I said to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Marlene Davies says neighbors Bert Dunn and girlfriend Amy Beams owe for damage to her fence and rabbit hutch caused by a dead tree.
The plaintiff has the right to trim a tree, whether it be dead or alive, that's encroaching over her property line. She has the right to do that. You are confusing right with responsibility. Those are two different things. You couldn't complain if the plaintiff trimmed the tree that was hanging over her property. You would have no cause of action because you are encroaching on her property. That doesn't look like a healthy tree. That tree is your responsibility. She has the right to trim it, but you have the responsibility to maintain it in such a way so that it does not cause damage to your neighbor's property. And if you neglect to do that, and you may have a property that has lots of trees, I understand that. It's happened to me many times, both ways with neighbors. But if my tree damages a neighbor's property, I'm responsible, even though the neighbor had the right to trim it. You're confusing those two things, sir. Do you understand?
No, I disagree.
Well, I'm going to try to explain it to you again.
Fine.
the branch of your tree was hanging over her property, over her fence, and over this rabbit hutch. She, if she wanted to, at her expense, could have had someone come in and trim that tree, and you would have no cause to complain. That was her right. However, she does not have the responsibility to maintain the tree. You do. It's your tree. And if your tree, because she chooses not to spend the money to trim it, if you choose not to either take it down or trim it, it's your responsibility if it causes damage. I tried to say that even louder so you could understand it.
I understand what you're saying, but she let the branch die enough for a...
Sorry, You're being annoying. Because I don't understand why somebody would want to interrupt when it appears as if your side is winning.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Weren't you listening to what I said to him?
Yes, ma'am.
She didn't let the branch die. You did. And right now, you just cooked your own goose because you said it was a healthy tree. You said she let the branch die. She didn't. It wasn't her tree. It was your tree.
That branch laid in her property. That's where she let it die, where she gets her pictures of a dead tree.
I don't understand. I mean, I read your answer. Your answer clearly says that a branch of your tree fell and damaged her property. You acknowledge that in your answer.
Yeah, I mean, there's pictures. Why would I deny that?
But then I don't understand your response to what I'm saying to you.
That's how I feel.
I don't care how you feel. What you're
It's
feeling
fine.
is unimportant to me. I just told you what the law is.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
She has the right to trim the tree. It's not her responsibility. It's your responsibility, if you've got a tree with dead limbs, to make it pretty. That's your responsibility. There's a difference between a right and a responsibility.
I have lots of trees on my property. It's a very dense area in the wooded area back. She has an open yard with a fence, very easily for her to see, and could have brought it to my attention.
That she could have, but I'm going to suggest that if it's very dense where you are, what you do is you periodically walk around the perimeter of your property and take a look at it. If you choose to let trees die that could impact your house, that's your right. But you cannot allow trees to die on the perimeter of your property and damage other people's property because you're putting the onus on your neighbor, either to bring it to your attention, and with your attitude, you would have said, if you don't like that dead tree branch, trim it.
It wasn't dead.
You just told me, you just said to me 2 seconds ago,
you
told me 2 seconds ago, she allowed the tree branch to die. She should have notified me that it was dead. You just said that to me a moment ago.
After it died.
All right. You have to fix your fence on the rabbit hutch? Yes. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount requested, $600. We're finished here.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Well, naturally, I'm happy because I won, but...
I think it's ridiculous.
The mistake they were making, it wasn't a branch, it was a whole tree trunk. But that's okay if he thinks it was a scrub oak and it wasn't rotten. That's good.
She let the storm damage it, fall in her yard, and she let it lay there and rot for months.
My son has the weather report for that day. No rain.
She didn't need permission to trim. I mean, it's on her yard. She could have trimmed it. Could have been done with a long time ago.
He didn't give a damn.
Nah, we're still neighbors. I mean, we got to get along.
Well, I've already given him notice that he's got rotten trees he needs to take care of, so...
There's no hard feelings to her.
In the event it happens again, I guess we'll be back.
You know, maybe next time we can have some better communication.
I like Judge Judy.
I didn't do it, and this is the reason I'm suing my mother.
A son denies crimes against his family.
Stole the TV out of my mom's room, hit my sister 3 times in the face. I was arrested, ripped out of my bed in my underwear.
These reports indicate that you were totally uncooperative.
How would you react?
Did he bring it on himself?
How many times had you been arrested before?
A bunch. My anger gets the best of me.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Glenn Hazelton is suing his mother, Nancy Haight, and theft.
Order. All rise. Now it's case number 375 on the calendar in the matter of Hazelton versus Hazelton.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Mr. Hazelton, the defendant is your mother, and it is your claim that she had you falsely arrested a little over a year ago for both stealing her property and for assaulting your sister, who tried to intervene and prevent you from taking her television. That's what the case is about. You spent, according to you, 6 days in jail. You finally bailed yourself out, and you want to be compensated for that. That's
That
what
is
the case
correct,
is
Your
about.
Honor.
Okay. Prior to being arrested last year, when you were arrested on your mother's complaint, how many times had you been arrested before?
A bunch.
How many? More than a dozen?
I could say yes.
And were those, at least some of those arrests, drug-related?
No.
Were they alcohol-related?
No.
Were they physically related? Were they assault cases?
Some. But what does that got to pertain to this case?
Everything pertains to this case. Was some of them involving theft?
No.
Was some of them involving trespass?
No.
So they were all involving assault. More than a dozen cases. What I'm gathering now is information. So of the drugs, none involved alcohol, none involved theft, none involved trespass, all involved assault. Is that a yes or a no?
That's a no.
What else do they involve other than assault?
I'm just talking about this case, Your Honor.
I'm talking about who the
I'm
party...
going to talk about this case at hand. If you don't want to discuss this case, then we can just dismiss it.
Great. Then I'm dismissing it. Thank you very much.
All right,
We're
thank
done.
you. You have a good day.
Parties are excused.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Are you telling me that you were not high on some sort of drug?
No, I was not on no drugs, okay? I was arrested, hauled off to jail, ripped out of my bed in my underwear for a crime I did not commit. How would you react?
And later today,
What an outrageous bill. It is, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I was so shocked.
$9,000. And your insurance paid almost $6,000
Yes.
for going down the toilet as a country.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
In a case recalled from earlier today, Glenn Hazelton says his mother, Nancy Hazelton, falsely accused him of assaulting his sister and stealing her TV.
Ms. Hazelton,
Thank
parties
you.
are reminded you're still under oath. You're welcome, Judge.
Mr. Hazelton, Officer Byrd tells me that you have had second thoughts about answering the court's questions, and you're asking me to reconsider the dismissal of this case. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. So then let's get back to where I was questioning you before. According to your answers previously, you've been arrested at least a dozen times, none involving drugs. Is that correct?
That is correct.
None involving alcohol.
That is correct.
None involving burglary.
That is correct.
None involving theft.
That is correct.
All involving assault.
That is correct. 3 times.
So of the more than dozen times you've been arrested, it is as a result of either temper or a mental illness, if it wasn't drug or alcohol related.
No, my anger gets the best of me.
Well, that's an uncontrollable...
It's an uncontrollable issue.
For which you've been or not been in treatment.
Not.
Is it correct, Miss Hazelton, that your son never had either a drug or an alcohol problem?
Alcohol.
In October of 2015, Mr. Hazelton, how were you supporting yourself?
By working.
For whom?
Green Star Lawn Maintenance.
How long have you worked for them?
For 38 years off and on.
Are you working for them now?
Yes.
Full time?
Yes.
I think so.
Do you remember on what day you were arrested?
Yeah, I was arrested on May 6, 2015.
Where?
In Henry County.
Is that where you live?
I lived, yes.
What time were you arrested?
About 12:20.
In the morning?
In the morning, yeah.
And you were at home?
I was at home, right?
And you were arrested on the complaint of your mother and or your sister? Or just your mother?
I was arrested on my mother and sister's complaint stating that I walked in an unlocked door, used the restroom. Upon leaving the restroom, stole the TV out of my mom's room, hit my sister 3 times in the face, and left with the TV.
Okay. You're the sister?
No.
Where is the sister?
She's passed away.
Were you at home that day?
No.
So the sister that you allegedly assaulted is no longer here.
No.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
And I gather from your answer that you were not at home when this took place.
No.
Did you have a conversation with your daughter when you got home?
She was holding an ice.
Just a second. Did you have a conversation with her?
Yes.
At what time did you get home on, it would be the 5th
Right.
of May? What time did you get home?
Between probably 9:30 and 9:45, I was playing bingo. My daughter lived with me.
How old was she?
Let's see.
She was 52.
Shh.
Yeah, she was 50.
She was 50 then?
Yeah.
So when you came home, it was 9:30, 9:45, and tell me first what you saw.
I saw her holding an ice pack on her face, and I asked her what happened. And she said, Glenn came here to use the bathroom, so she let him in. And in the process of using the restroom, he came out with my 32-inch TV, and she went to stop him, and he hit her in the face. That's what she told me. And I was only in the house maybe 5 minutes before the police were knocking on the doors.
Had your daughter called the police?
Yes.
Okay, so she had called the police before you even got home?
Oh, yes.
Do you have the police report?
No, I don't have that.
Do you have the police
Yes, I do.
report? I'd like to see it, sir.
Okay.
Just the police report.
It's right there.
You do know that these reports indicate that you were totally uncooperative, had to be placed in a hood, a spit hood, had to be put in isolation, that you were not high on some sort of drug or alcohol that night when they came to your home to arrest you?
Excuse me, Your Honor. Let me first say this.
I asked you a question, Mr. Hazelton. We had
No,
an
I was
agreement.
not high.
We
No, I
had-
was not high. No, I was not on no drugs, okay?
Okay.
My actions speak louder than words. I was arrested, hauled off to jail, ripped out of my bed in my underwear, and you're telling me for a crime I did not commit, how would you react? And the charges were dismissed, not by the judge, by the public defender, the state's attorney, because I didn't steal the TV that my mom said. And my mother sat there and said she's seen me in a while. She hasn't seen me in 7 years. And it's just, it came out of her in the police report, she states that. And my sister said 2 different signs. She said she came home in an ice pack, but there's no bruises or marks on her. I hit her 3 times. It's all a lie. And why don't they look in her question and call me and ask me, did I do this? They know where I live. You know, they're trying to give me 46 years for this TV. My life is a little more than 46 years, okay? Or acting out in jail or whatever. I didn't do it, and this is the reason I'm suing my mother. I'm out $2,500. I could have gone after her for...
It's dismissed, Mr. Hazelton. You have no case against your mother. We're finished here.
As far as our excuse, you may step out.
It wasn't about the money.
He figured, well, if he got dismissed,
It was about to show the world that I didn't steal her TV.
he's going to go after my mom for the jail money.
Hope it gives them peace of mind.
I hope he gets help.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Appleby versus Grassi, step forward.
Lamea Adelby is suing her former neighbor, Patricia Grassi, for medical bills and lost wages after Patricia's cat bit her.
Miss Adelby, this incident happened over a year ago.
Yes.
The incident that you're complaining about. The incident that you're complaining about allegedly happened in the state of Connecticut, where you and the defendant were neighbors of sorts.
Yes.
And it is your claim that her cat, in October of last year, bit you. You had certain medical bills that you incurred as a result of that. You want her to be responsible. Before I get into that, I'd like to know when you relocated to California.
I relocated end of June. I'm a travel nurse, so I move every 3 to 4 months. So I was here June 26th.
I don't know what you mean you're a traveler.
I'm a travel nurse, so I every 3 to 4 months, depending on the needs of the hospitals.
So you were in Connecticut from October to June.
No, I was in Connecticut from July to October.
July through October.
Then end of October, October 30th, I moved to New York City, and I was there
Just a minute. And you were in New York City until when?
till May, mid-May.
Now, New York City is much closer to Connecticut than is Los Angeles. So my first question for you would be, Why did you choose to initiate this case when you moved to Los Angeles rather than for the time that you were in Connecticut and then close by in a state that touched the state where this happened, rather than waiting until you were thousands of miles away?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
We're talking about the $3,000 that she got as a bill from the emergency care that she went to before she knew that your cat was up to date on its rabies shots, because she has to protect herself.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Lamia Adelby is suing her former neighbor and lost wages after Patricia's cat bit her.
Okay, why did you choose to initiate this case when you moved to Los Angeles rather than for the time that you were in Connecticut?
I didn't receive the bill till late April of 2016, and I was already planning to move to LA.
Well, you didn't move until May.
Yes.
You received bills in April from whom?
From Norwalk Hospital. It's my emergency room bill of $3,013.30 right here.
Are you telling me that you have no insurance?
I do, but after insurance, this is what the cost was.
After insurance, there was a copay of over $3,000?
Yes.
How much was the whole bill?
It was a lot more than that. This breaks it down.
I'd like to see that, please. Wow. And you were there just for the afternoon at Norwalk Hospital?
I went there at night to go get my rabies shots.
Okay,
and
but
then
you didn't stay over in the hospital?
No.
What an outrageous bill.
Yes.
What?
I was so shocked.
$9,000. And your insurance paid almost $6,000.
Yes.
We're going down the toilet as a country. Okay, and it is your claim that this visit to Norwalk Hospital and the resulting bill that you have, which is $3,000, is a result of Miss Grassi's black cat biting you.
Yes, I have a picture of the bite.
Now, Miss Grassi, I understand from reading the complaint, this happened on October 15th?
Yes.
October 15th.
October 10th.
Thank you for helping me. It's happened on October 15th. You have a black cat, or you have two?
I have two black cats.
Now, on October 15th, I want you to tell me what happened.
It was October 10th, actually. And I was driving home from work. I was parking in my parking lot, and I noticed a black cat. And he approached me and was trying to follow me up to my apartment. I went upstairs and tried to open the two sets of doors, trying to go in real fast because he was trying to go in.
To your apartment?
Yes. He was trying to go in, and I didn't allow him to, and I was trying...
Tell me what you did.
I just tried to open the door real quick to avoid him and to go inside because there's two doors, and he was already there, and then he bit me on my left above my ankle, right there, inside as fast as I could.
Okay. And you called animal control, you called the police.
I originally went to urgent care, and I have a report from them.
Did you call animal control?
The urgent care did.
Urgent care?
Yeah. I have this, and they say that they called them.
And you described the cat?
Yes.
How far does the defendant live from you?
She lives across the street at the time. I also have the report from animal control.
Now, I'm going to look at that in a second. At some point, you were advised by a neighbor of yours that animal control was setting a trap for a black cat, right?
Yes, for a cat, yes.
Well, you say you were advised that animal control was setting a trap for a black cat.
Yes, a black cat, the cat that...
And your cats go in and out? Both of them or just one of them?
No, one.
The other one is strictly a house cat?
Very elderly and arthritic and doesn't move.
Okay, so the one that goes out is a black cat?
That's right.
Is that cat bitten before?
No.
May I see the animal control report?
And she had told me that her sister gets bitten by that cat whenever I first met her.
When did she tell you that her sister was bitten by that cat?
I think I met her around October 14th, 4 days after they located her and the cat. And I was like, oh, I got by him, and he bit my sister. He bites my sister all the time.
What did you say to her when she said the cat bites my sister?
Well, I was shocked that a cat like that should be roaming around the street and biting around without our knowledge, and it doesn't even have a collar.
What's your sister's name?
Noreen.
Noreen live with you?
Yes, she does.
Just a second. Okay. That's my question. Does Noreen live with you?
Yes.
Does she work?
Yes.
Is she working today?
No.
Where is she today?
She's taking care of my cats and dogs.
How many cats do you have?
I have 2.
How many dogs?
2. They're all rescues.
When did you rescue this black cat? The one that bit her?
Yes, about 5 years ago. I'm not sure of the date.
When you were told about this, you did in fact pay for the rabies shot that the plaintiff got. Is that right?
I did.
Is that an arrangement that you made with animal control as well?
No. Animal control, as soon as I told animal control that my cat was up on his rabies shots, and told him the name of the vet, and told him to call the vet if he had any questions.
What date was that?
It was after the day that Lamia came to see me. That
it was
must have
after
been
her-
the 14th or the 15th.
She had already been to the emergency room.
Yes.
She incurred this bill before she found out that your cat was...
Yes. But may I say something?
Sure.
Okay. She got the initial rabies shots, but there are 3 booster shots.
We're not even talking about the booster shots.
Okay.
We're talking about the $3,000 that she got as a bill from the emergency care that she went to before she knew that your cat was up to date on its rabies shots.
All right.
Do you understand?
I do.
That's a bill that, but for the fact that you let your cat out, she would not have incurred, because she has to protect herself
I
by
understand.
following this procedure.
I understand.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You still have that cat?
Yes, I do. And the cat, the cat didn't bite my sister. He will take a nip, but he doesn't, blood is not drawn. All right. And he's never has bitten anybody else. He is a very friendly cat, and he's around people a great deal.
He shouldn't be outside.
But no one has ever complained about him. He's
Do you
he's
still
very
let him
friendly.
out?
Oh, yes. Because he's not vicious. People come up to me and tell me, people who lived in the same apartment house that she does, and they say, oh, your cat's so friendly. I just love him, and they have names for him, and they visit with him.
Miss Grassi, you owe her $3,000. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done.
Parties are excused and they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
You hit a brand new car, and you were dodging her.
She came to my house
because she wanted her money. You're suing her for harassing you. So let's understand what the ground rules are here.
Judge Judy.
I guess she knows what she's talking about because that's her job.
I'm so happy about her decision.
I do love my cat, and other people don't have that affection.
As a nurse, I knew I had to go get treatment. You have 48 to 72 hours. Otherwise, I get rabies and I could die if the cat did have rabies.
He's an outdoor cat. He was rescued from being outside.
People should have collars on their animals and not have them roaming around the streets, especially if they're known to bite or nip around.
You just can't take an outdoor cat and make him an indoor animal.
I'm glad I'm fine, and I'm glad everything turned out well today.
A mother's battle with her ex.
You never paid child support. With this, sir, you're far too involved.
Then her new man picked up the fight.
I walk my kids to school. They come in with guns. They've been threatening my life.
He wanted to disrespect me, slander me.
I'm not saying I'm completely innocent. I'm not.
There sounds to me like there's enough blame here to go all the way around.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Jeanette Ward and her fiancé, Travis Galloway, are suing the father of Jeanette's child, Jonathan Reed, for a false restraining order and harassment.
Order. All rise. It's case number 383 on the calendar, the matter of Galloway Ward versus Reed.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat.
We're going to start with you, Miss Ward. Miss Ward, you and Mr. Reed have a child together.
Yes.
Girl or a boy?
A girl.
And she's 7?
Yes.
And you lived in what state when she was born?
In California.
Did you ever live with Mr. Reed?
Yes.
For how long?
2 years.
And after you separated, you remained in California?
Yes.
And you met Mr. Galloway?
Yes.
And you and Mr. Galloway have been together for how? You have a child together?
We have 2.
Where are you from, Mr. Galloway?
I was born and raised, I was in Long Beach, California. Long Beach, California.
Do you have family elsewhere?
I was raised in foster care. I never grew up with my mom or dad.
Do you have any connection to the state of Washington?
I have friends, yes I do. I have friends out there. I moved out there to...
Did you have friends when you moved there?
Yes, ma'am.
From school, from
just growing up, from work friends, and we decided to go out there for a better way of living, better living.
And that was after your 2 children were born?
Yes, ma'am.
So in what year did you and Miss Ward decide to go to the state of Washington?
I want to say, was it December, late December of last year, January this year?
And you took Miss Ward and Mr. Reed's daughter with you?
Yes, ma'am. We took our family with us, yes.
Well, you took his family with you.
You're correct, you're correct.
And so this is what I'm gathering, putting together this case. You left the state of California with your 2 children.
Yes.
You said you were moving there for a better life.
Yes, ma'am.
And in all probability, without Mr. Reed's consent, you took his daughter as well. Did you have Mr. Reed's consent? Don't make that clear, but I assume there was a lawsuit brought by Mr. Reed.
Yes, ma'am.
To return his daughter to her home state, which was California.
You're correct, yes.
And the judge who heard that case agreed with him.
Yes.
And said, you're a mother, you're a father, you each have rights. You can't take Mr. Reed's child out of the state of California because your family wants a better life without consulting him and putting him in the mix. Child is entitled to have 2 parents.
Your Honor, Mr. Reed hasn't been in the child's life. He hasn't been around.
Well, what I can tell you is, from what I gather from the papers, he now has custody of his daughter.
You're correct.
Since when?
He had custody September, but we went back to court and we got joint custody.
Well, how are you going to manage joint custody from the state of California to the state of Washington?
The judge let me allow her to come visit me on her breaks, her winter, summer, spring breaks.
That's great. So you have her during holidays, winter breaks, and during the summer.
Right.
And other than that, she lives with her father in the state of California.
Right.
Who do you live with, sir?
I stay with my grandmother right now.
And where is your daughter living? With you and your grandmother?
Yes.
How is she?
She's very good. Like November 19th, she just turned 7. She's having fun. Me and her's reconnected very good. It hasn't been that good since she moved away from her mother. It's kind of hard to undo everything that they have done.
Excuse me, Your Honor. We have video that's showing that his daughter is telling that she doesn't want to live with him. She wants to come back home.
Well, the problem, sir, is that you made a life choice to leave so that effectively...
The reason why I left was because of harassment from him and his family. They came into my door with weapons. I walk my kids to school. They're coming with guns. They've been threatening my life.
Well, I don't know what this lawsuit is about. I'm not quite sure. What you're suing for are the expenses that you had to incur coming back and forth to litigate this case from the state of Washington to California.
That's true, and also for harassment against Mr. Reed, and my moving costs because I moved out of state, trying to get away from his family and the threats.
Well, that's not what you told me initially. What you told me initially was that you moved to the state of Washington because you had friends there and because you wanted a better way of life for you and your family. I probably was a combination of things. Didn't necessarily need Mr. Reed in your family life. You have a lovely family, 2 children, and 3 with Mr. Reed's daughter, and she was well enmeshed in your family, which is all very lovely, but your mistake was your mistake, saying to him, you are a non-parent. We don't have to ask you if we want to move.
No, we had no contact with him.
For how long?
For years,
We went to court.
We have video. Just
a second.
We had a court hearing in October of 2015 where he was supposed to come pick her up from school every other weekend and every Wednesday, and I have a video evidence.
Just a second. Who brought that proceeding?
The
to
judge.
Give him, no. The judge doesn't bring a proceeding. Either you brought a proceeding against him, or he brought a proceeding against you for visitation with his daughter.
He did.
He did.
And he never.
Just a second.
I'm sorry.
That would be very, very odd, Mr. Galloway. It sounds to me as if at least on 2 occasions that I know of, in 2015 and then again in 2016, Mr. Reed either used his own money, family money, 2 actions to see his daughter. 2. 1 for visitation. Is that the first time you went to court with him?
No.
Has he brought other actions?
Yes.
Also for visitation?
Yes.
Because, you see, Mr. Reed views this whole thing a little bit differently. Do you have a problem with Mr. Galloway, Mr. Reed?
Yes and no.
Well, let's start with the yes first.
The thing is, you know, he wanted to disrespect me, slander me.
How did he disrespect you?
He called me a... everything under the Tuscan sun. Because he...
When?
Constantly. He mentions me in his Facebooks. He mentions me a lot.
May I see what you're referring to?
Let's see. Well, matter of fact, just...
No, don't give me a whole bunch of stuff. Just give me exactly what you want me to read.
Okay, there we go. And he also just, I got text messages just saying I'm using my daughter for EB, just trying to get food stamps and everything else, which I know I work a lot. And he's saying he's disabled. So pretty much it's been a whole bunch of shh. And I got stuff on Facebook. I got stuff on my text messages too. I had to comply with... Oh, yes, ma'am.
You want to tell me what this is about, Mr.
Let's see.
Well, I can tell you what this is about. He's filed different restraining orders on me. I got a phone call from Jonathan's brother saying, oh, well, come fight me. They tried to set me up to come fight them. And if I would have came, I promised Jeanette, no, I'm not going to go fight them. But what I got a phone call saying, come fight me, come fight me, come fight me. If I would have came, they had the lawyers and the restraining orders so that I can get caught up and sent to jail for fighting them. I said, well, that message is, okay, well, if you guys want to fight, we can fight fairly as men. No guns, no restraining orders, no help, no, you know.
Mr. Reed.
And that was my reaction towards their action.
There sounds to me like there's enough blame here to go all the way around.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm completely innocent.
There's
I'm not.
Enough blame to go all the way around.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When I say to you there's more than enough blame to go around here, you don't have a case against him. But the truth of the matter is I don't think that you should be involved with their child.
Jeanette Ward and fiancé Travis Galloway say the father of Jeanette's child, Jonathan Reed, filed a false restraining order against Travis.
There sounds to me like there's enough blame here to go all the way around.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm completely innocent.
There's
I'm not.
Enough blame to go all the way around. When Miss Ward's daughter was living with you full-time, was Mr. Reed paying child support?
No. The reason why...
I'm
sorry.
These things usually have a pattern. Mr. Reed?
Yes?
You went for visitation, and I'm certain at some point that Miss Ward sought child support from you.
Yes.
Was there an order of child support?
No.
Why not?
Because they was trying to find her to make child support.
What?
They was looking for her.
We're talking about years ago, sir. You hadn't lived together in many years. Do you work?
Yes.
Who do you work for?
I work for Walmart.
How long have you worked for Walmart?
2 years. Before that, I was going to school and trying to finish up my education.
How old are you?
27.
So the answer is you never paid child support?
No.
He never bought diapers.
Let me explain something to you, Mr. Galloway. When I say to you there's more than enough blame to go around here, you don't have a case against him. This is an unfortunate family court situation off your chest. But the truth of the matter is I don't think that you should be involved with their child. You.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't think that he may have handled anything or everything appropriately.
Your Honor.
I'm not sure. I know you're going like this, sir. There's a lot of difference between going like this and what I'm reading here. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good.
But I have proof on my phone from text messages that I have not been involved. I have every text on my phone.
You have not been involved
I
with
have
what?
not been involved. He's bringing my name up.
Just a second. He didn't sue you. You sued him. That's what brought us to court today.
I'm suing him for harassment. I'm suing him for harassing me. I'm not suing him. I'm not involved in the child.
Mr. Galloway, did you ever seek and receive a protective order against Mr. Reed? Did you ever seek a court-ordered protective order against Mr. Reed and receive one, is my question.
No, I have not.
Okay.
I received bogus reports.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Did Mr. Reed ever seek a protective order against you?
He's tried.
Just a second. The answer would be yes.
Yes.
He did. And was he granted a temporary restraining order?
It was denied.
I didn't say final. Was he granted a temporary?
No, ma'am.
Was not. So that you didn't risk being arrested.
That's just 2 days ago.
Oh, that's outrageous. What? Who are you?
I'm the aunt. I'm a witness.
We have a restraining order against her.
Just a second. Right now, I don't have to hear from you.
Okay.
Because he's not losing this case
Okay.
so far. And I don't think he will. But you really have to realize, Miss Ward, that your 7-year-old daughter didn't ask to be involved in this unfortunate family circumstance. You made her, she was born, and I assume that when you made her, you planned on trying to make her childhood as happy as possible. I assume that that's what both of you wanted when you had this child.
Yes.
That be right?
Right.
Unfortunately, it didn't work out between the two of you. That doesn't mean that you can discard him. Now, you have a lovely new mate with whom you have 2 children. I assume you're working in the state of Washington?
I have my own business.
What kind of business?
I'm a club promoter and I'm a music producer.
And you work in Washington?
I work in different states. I travel back and forth from different states.
Well, then the state of Washington could have been a possibility for you, as could have another place closer in California.
Yeah, I was trying to. We moved out of because we were walking one day while Jeanette was pregnant. She was pregnant. Some guys, the lady right here, and the daughter, and her dad place. We moved out for our protection.
Just a second.
We moved out of
Don't
California.
speak.
And they pulled out a gun. They had a gun.
I don't want you to speak.
While she was pregnant.
Just a second. Them.
And they came to our
Just
door.
a second. Just a second. I'm not getting into them. I'm talking about him.
He sent them. He's texting me while this is happening.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You have a 7-year-old child. You can either make her childhood miserable or you can make her childhood happy. I guarantee you this. If you make her child miserable, she's going to get back at you tenfold.
Exactly.
With her behavior.
And later today.
Your car got towed.
That's correct.
You had to get it out.
Correct.
How much did that cost?
About $200, $250 if I can check here, Your Honor.
How much?
It's about...
Not about.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jeanette Ward and fiancé Travis Galloway say the father of Jeanette's child, Jonathan Reed, filed a false restraining order against Travis.
Okay. Mr. Galloway, you don't have a case against him, but all I can tell you is you have a 7-year-old child. You can either make her childhood miserable or you can make her childhood happy. I guarantee you this. If you make her child miserable with her behavior, she's going to... You're far too involved with this, sir. You're far too involved.
Because he's hiding. He's hiding behind. He's hiding behind some things. This video showed.
Did you notice? You notice how you're quiet? Is it because you understand?
No, I'm just waiting to speak.
I'm listening.
When I moved, I thought I had full custody. He wasn't in her life. I wasn't asking for child support. And every time we moved to get away from him, they end up finding us, and my life and my family life was in danger. So we decided to move to Washington.
Yeah.
And when
I want to tell you something. Unless this family court judge was totally out of his mind, he would never have returned the child to her father. Now, I don't know what the circumstances were, and I have absolutely no intention of spending 2.5 hours to figure out the whys. All I know is her father went to court twice that I know of, probably more, in order to get visitation with his daughter, which I have a feeling, based upon what I'm hearing over here, was probably made difficult for him. Probably made difficult for him. Otherwise, I don't understand why he would spend time and money to go to family court and seek visitation, seek an order of visitation.
You may step up.
He's putting false accusations on me. He has false restraining orders against me.
It was really good. Justice was served.
Got people threatening me coming to my house.
Not true at all. Not true.
Him and his family members coming to my house with weapons and pulling up on me with guns and stuff.
He want me out of my child's life.
I moved out of the state. I moved to protect myself.
We didn't do anything to harm her, jeopardize her any kind of way.
It's time to lawyer up.
Just hope that we can move on from this and get better.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Hall versus Rogers. Step forward.
Jason Hall is suing mechanic Dwayne Rogers for a refund for uncompleted repairs and a parking ticket.
Mr. Hall, you wanted to do a nice thing, fix up your car, an old car that you had to give it to your nephew.
Correct.
It needed a lot of work, and you brought it to the defendant's shop.
No, he does it on the side at his home.
He told you what it would take to repair it, and you gave him $1,000.
Correct.
When was that?
September the 15th, excuse me.
Of this year?
Correct.
Okay. Did he fix the car?
No, ma'am, he did not.
And then your car got towed?
That's correct.
From the street?
Correct.
You had to get it out?
Correct.
How much did that cost?
About $200, $250 if I can check here, Your Honor.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
And then your car got towed?
That's correct.
From the street?
Correct.
You had to get it out?
Correct.
How much did that cost?
About $200, $250 if I can check here, Your Honor.
How much?
It's about...
Not about.
$250.
When you got the car out of impound, when you brought it to him, you had to have it towed to him because it wasn't drivable?
Initially correct.
When you picked the car up from impound, from where it had been towed, was it drivable?
No, ma'am, it was not.
And when was it towed?
It was towed on October the 21st, this year.
So about 5 weeks later?
Roughly, yes, ma'am.
So in 5 weeks you didn't fix the car?
No, ma'am.
So you have to give him his money back?
Well, it just ain't that easy because when he gave me the money, I had to go buy parts.
Show me the receipts for parts that you bought.
I don't have no receipts.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,250. We're done here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I have all day just to be working on the car. I have a small window after I get off of work.
The evidence was there. She needed to see it. She saw it.
The car had got towed because of bad tags.
Take it to a dealer if you need it fixed.
The only thing he had to do was just change the tags, and it was still been there, and I could have fixed it.
Tenant troubles spill into the open.
How many times were the police called to the home?
At least 2 or 3. It was 10 times that the police have been called about my house.
And a landlord loses sleep.
They had multiple violent fights. He would hit her, pull her hair, she would hit him.
When was the last time you had a full-time job? FTJ, full-time job.
Before I went to prison.
There's more here. I just don't have time to go there.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
21-year-old Kiana Fisher is suing her ex-landlord, 24-year-old Emily Miller, for vandalizing and stealing her property.
Order. All rise. It's case number 370 on the calendar in the matter Fisher versus Miller.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, folks. Have a seat, huh?
Are you Nicholas? Please. Miss Fisher, you and your boyfriend rented a room from Miss Miller.
Yes, Your Honor.
How did you find the room?
Nicholas's friend is a coworker of Emily's, was a coworker of Emily's, and that's how we found out that she was renting out her room for rent.
And when did you move into the room?
The beginning of April.
How much was the room?
$650 a month.
Where were you working?
I was actually working from home. I owned my own business, so I was just...
What kind of business?
I was selling glass art online.
And what kind of work were you doing, Nicholas?
I'm unemployed at the moment.
But my mom does own a grooming shop, and I'd help out over there when she needed help.
How long have you been unemployed?
I want to say about 2 years. I'm waiting for surgery for my shoulder. Both shoulders, actually. They're both damaged.
Ms. Fisher, you stayed until what date in the room?
I stayed and I left on September 5th was the last day that I was there.
Between April and September, how many times were the police called to the home?
I would say at least 2 or 3.
Who called them?
I do not know who called the police.
The police were called to the home because of fights between you and Nicholas?
Yes. It was just verbal. I mean, they did come, said...
I don't care.
Okay.
At least 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you lived in your apartment where you rented them a room?
It's a home in Citrus Heights.
You rent it?
I do.
Who else lives with you?
At the moment, I have a new roommate, but it's just me.
Just you?
Yep.
Prior to Miss Fisher and her boyfriend Nicholas moving in, how many times were the police called to your home?
Once, maybe.
For what?
It was a verbal altercation.
With whom?
My ex-boyfriend.
Ex-boyfriend?
Yep.
When was that?
March or April. I'm
of
not
what
sure.
Year?
2016. I have the printout of the police reports between the end of July and September when they moved out, and it was 10 times that the police have been called about my house.
Your Honor, that does not sound correct whatsoever.
May I take a look at it?
10 times.
And a few of them were not called by me. Anonymous neighbors had called.
27th, 29th of July,
yep.
August 3rd, 12th, August 28th, September 1st, 2nd, 5th twice, or 5th 3 times. Well, who called the police on the 5th of September?
I called the police. Oh.
You did?
Yes, to file a police report.
And I have 2 police reports made on the 5th.
Just a second.
I also have the police reports if you'd like to see them.
I would.
Okay.
Against Nicholas.
Yeah.
When was that?
I had spent 2 weeks in August to get my restraining order. Casey served him with a temporary restraining order August 31st. It said he was not allowed 300 feet within my home.
Tell me why.
Well, it started off with Kiana. She was accusing her boyfriend of doing drugs, which he had been to prison for before, methamphetamine. And they had multiple violent fights. He would hit her, pull her hair. She would hit him.
That is not true.
He was witness to it. His son was witness to it.
Tell me why you filed a protective order against him.
So he was, after I had asked him about the drugs, I said, you can't do that in my home. If you're going to do that, you need to leave. And he said it was about time for him to leave anyways, so I had given him his 30-day notice. But he had told me that if his girlfriend's in the home, he is allowed there whenever he wants. And I said, you can't be doing that. And if you're going to act like that, you both have to leave. And I've asked him before, you guys can't fight like this in my house. I'm a 4-H leader. I'm a nanny. I can't bring kids around when you're like this. They had damaged a window. And when I did not know about it, Kiana had come to me and said, me and Nick were fighting. I'm so sorry about the window. We'll get it fixed.
What did you do to the window?
It was actually...
So it had broken...
I want you to tell me.
It had broken on its own when I was trying to close it. Well, when he was trying to close it, actually. And I had brought it to Emily's...
It got broken.
I was trying to pull the window down. And
why?
Because my cats go outside through the window, and I didn't want them to go outside, so I was closing the window.
I don't believe that. Put your hand down. I don't believe that. I want to tell you I don't believe it.
Okay.
You want to tell me how the window got broken?
I'm telling you the truth, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm.
Can he speak? He seems to have something to say.
Because I did most of the maintenance around the house. The whole entire house from the inside was damaged. It was the problem with the window is the slider that goes through it would jam up, so you cannot push the window down. So it takes like a lot of force to push it down. So when you push it down, it would bind up. Finally, we just push it down, and then the metal bracket that slides the window down is what broke.
I also...
Oh, just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
So you did that?
Yes, ma'am.
You did it?
Yes.
Let me tell you something, Nicholas.
Yes, ma'am.
10 minutes ago, you said to me you haven't worked in 2 years because you're waiting for shoulder surgery on both of your shoulders.
Yes.
Now you're telling me that you needed an awful lot of strength to pull this window down. You were the one who pulled the window down, and you do all the maintenance around the house.
Yeah, lightly.
You want to tell me why you can't work?
I mean, honestly, I have...
No, I want you to be dishonest with me.
No.
I want you to look at this face, and I want you to be dishonest with me.
I've literally have tried... I've dislocated my shoulder multiple times just lifting things. It's just, I try to go about my business and try to actually do things without... Because I forget about my shoulders, and they just they dislocate. I've been to the hospital multiple times. I'm actually scheduled for surgery, everything.
If you can pull down a window and do maintenance around the house, you can wash dishes.
I actually did wash lots of dishes multiple times.
Where?
At her house.
For money, for pay, for
Yes.
work, to get your behind out of bed, to go to work. Do you understand?
I do, ma'am.
All right, good. I'm just trying to figure out who my players are.
Yeah.
And why somebody who appears to be, at least at first blush, an intelligent woman who also works out of home. Did you file tax returns last year?
No, I did not.
Well, you worked last year. You say you work out of your house. How do you make money, the two of you? How do the two of you make money to pay your rent and support yourselves? You get where I'm going?
Yes,
You understand where I'm going?
Yes, Your Honor.
Stupid isn't written over here. I've been in the legal system for a long time. You want to tell me how you make your money?
I have a job now.
You want to tell me how you made your money then?
Yes, selling glass online.
Is that how you supported yourself?
Yes.
Then why didn't you pay taxes?
I guess I wasn't aware I had to pay taxes.
How old are you? You get any food subsidy?
I did get food stamps, yes.
What else?
That's all.
Oh, no, there's more here. There's more here. I just don't have time to go there. I really just don't have time to go there. So you get food stamps, and yet you have a computer and a laptop that you said was damaged, and a waterbed, and headboards, and a 60-inch television set.
That was actually bought for me.
There's no such word.
It was bought, my bad, sorry.
Can I say something?
Let me tell you something. Do you know what I don't care about? I don't care about them. Are you getting my drift? I don't know what you're doing to scuttle by. I know that you were complaining that some of your marijuana plants were ripped out when
her and her boyfriend and 5 other trucks pulled up on our property, threatening my boyfriend, telling him to leave. Yes, that did happen.
After the restraining order was served
Just
and
a
he wasn't
second.
supposed to be there.
The restraining order wasn't properly...
It was. Officers notified
It was
him of it.
Unless you can tell me where you got the money to buy a computer, a laptop, a 60-inch television set, and all the other things that you're complaining about to the tune of $3,000, I'm not interested.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When was the last time you had a FTJ, full-time job?
Before I went to prison.
How long were you in prison?
Over 2 years.
For what?
Selling drugs.
What kind? Stupid written over here?
And later today.
When was the last time you had insurance on the car?
I have it now. I had it.
Prior to November 3rd, when was the last time you had it?
It was broke down for about a year.
1 year you had no insurance on the car.
I wasn't
Was the
driving it.
I'm speaking.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Kiana Fisher says ex-landlord Emily Miller vandalized and stole her property. Emily is countersuing for damage to her home and harassment.
Now, unless you can tell me where you got the money to buy a computer, a laptop, a 60-inch television set, and all the other things that you're complaining about to the tune of $3,000, I'm not interested.
She used to work for VSP before.
I worked previously to own, doing my own business. I just quit, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I started doing my own thing online.
So now you have no job and an unemployed boyfriend.
I do have a job
so now you quit your job and you have an unemployed boyfriend.
No, she recently, she was working at VSP, and then she quit her job to do the glass, and then she works at...
Ameritech Financial.
Yeah, Ameritech Financial.
And I've been working there since August, and I work full-time. And I got a job because I knew I needed
September.
Yes.
Last time you had a full-time job, FTJ, full-time job.
Before I went to prison.
How long were you in prison?
Over 2 years.
For what?
Selling drugs.
What kind?
Methamphetamines.
See where I was going? See where there's no stupid written over here?
I understand that, but I mean, when I got out of prison, I had no violations, no parole, no dirties, nothing.
Good for you.
Yes, thank you.
I have a counterclaim also. I have a counterclaim and all the pictures of the damages also. That was done to the house after they received their 30-day notice.
Now, I have claims that you destroyed their stuff, and I have claims that you destroyed their stuff. I want the name of the neighbor who called to tell you that over Labor Day weekend, because I read your answer, that the plaintiff and the boyfriend were there moving stuff out for 4 days.
Yep, her name was Jeannie. She had written a letter, but I...
No. What's her last name?
Oh, I don't have her last name. But she wasn't able to come.
Don't tell me. Jean is a next-door neighbor in a private house.
Jeannie, yeah.
Get me her name and her phone number.
Okay. She had told me that while...
Don't tell me anything that she told you.
Okay.
I will call Jean.
So her phone number is 8710.
Now, Jean has no idea that I'm going to call to walk from here to here and do something that's unnecessary. If I call Jean, is Jean going to tell me that the two of you were at the house over Labor Day weekend moving stuff out of the house?
No, we did. We did not move anything out of the house over Labor Day weekend.
Okay. Is that what you tell me?
Oh, yeah. There's a police report on it.
I don't understand what she's saying. We were moving stuff out of the house. What?
You were moving stuff out of the house after he was served a restraining order, which in the police report,
Okay, I'm sorry.
police notified you that you cannot have
Just a
him
second.
at the home.
Is Jean going to tell me that you were there over Labor Day weekend moving stuff out in a truck?
Yes, I'm sorry. I thought when you said Labor Day, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about July 4th. Yes, she will say that. We were moving stuff.
Then your case is dismissed. Now let's get to your countersuit. I'll see the pictures.
And I have a bill of damages. And then the rest of it is because Nick had threatened my horses that I had on my property.
Listen, they're not there anymore, Miss Miller.
No, but I had to move them because of him.
That's a lie.
Listen to me.
Complete
Listen to me. I'm done with this case.
Okay.
So are you.
Okay.
You're done with them.
Yes.
You have a restraining order that was made permanent against Nicholas?
Yes.
It was?
Yep.
For how long? Thank you. Bye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She had damaged and stolen my property, and she wanted to be passive-aggressive and evict us.
Well, there was drugs involved, and after I found out about it from his girlfriend, I told them both that they needed to leave.
My laptop was completely damaged. The screen was shattered, drenched in urine.
They had 4 cats in one bedroom, locked in there, so.
A 60-inch smart TV I put in specifically in my closet, and it was vanished.
I was pretty violent between them two.
We did get in verbal arguments, yes, I will admit to that, but it never got physical.
Look at your roommates. I learned it the hard way.
Don't have them. Roommates.
I'm happy it's all done. Thought it was done a long time ago.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Cardenas Carlson versus Taylor. Step forward.
18-year-old Alexis Cardenas and her mother, Kimberly Carlson, are suing motorist Jamie Taylor for an accident on the road.
Miss Cardenas, you were driving.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're her mother and you own the car. You weren't in the car.
Yes.
You can sit down. You and Miss Taylor were in a car accident.
Yes.
And you claim that it was Miss Taylor's fault. Your
Yes.
car was damaged. You want her to pay for the repair. Miss Taylor said the accident was your fault. She sold her car at a devalued price, and she has a counterclaim. When did this accident happen? Were you driving?
A 1999 Toyota Solara.
And you?
A 2004 Volkswagen Passat.
At the time that you were driving your car, did you have insurance?
Yes.
At the time that you were driving your car on the 3rd of November, did you have insurance?
No.
That's why we're here.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I was in the turning lane. I was sitting there. There was cars here waiting to turn, and my car, the rear end of it, I was already sitting here waiting for the light to turn green.
Then you were over the yellow line.
Correct.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Alexis Cardenas says fellow motorist Jamie Taylor is at fault for an accident on the road. Jamie is countersuing for the loss of her car's value.
Now, at the time that you were driving your car on the 3rd of November, did you have insurance?
No.
That's why we're here. Why were you driving the car without insurance?
We just got it running. It was broke down, and we just got the car fixed. And I ran across the street to AMPM and got in a fender bender.
When was the last time you had insurance on the car?
I have it now. I had it
prior to November 3rd. When was the last time you had it?
It was broke down for about a
to-
year. Probably
1
about
year.
a year. Yeah. It was sat in my backyard, broke down. I wasn't
the car-
driving it.
I'm speaking. Was the car registered in the year 2016 in the state of, this happened in California?
Yes.
In the state of California, was it registered in the year 2016?
Yes.
So you paid for registration for the car in 2016?
My father did,
What?
yes.
I don't care who paid for it. I don't care who paid for it. Was the car registered in 2015?
Yes.
You want to go over to the map and tell me what happened in this accident?
All right. I was coming home from getting food for my family, and I am here. I was going to a stop, and that's when the defendant pulled out in front of me, and I did not have enough time.
Is that a shopping?
This is the gas station.
Gas
This
station.
is the AMPM, yes. She had pulled out in front of me. I did not have enough time to stop, nor did I have room to swerve because there was a car.
So she was coming out of a gas station?
Yes.
You had the right-of-way. You were on a two-lane highway?
Yes.
Two-lane street?
Yes, this is a turning lane.
And you were driving in the left-hand lane?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. You can go back. That's yours. Go over. It looks like pretty much the same to me, right?
That's not how it happened, no. I can tell you.
Were you coming out of a gas station?
I had pulled out already.
That's okay. You're turning lane there.
Yes, there is. It goes like this. Can I show you? Is that okay? Maybe the map's wrong, but what you have here is there's a lane here to go right onto Highway 18.
Listen to me. That's not where you were.
No.
Just point out where you were.
This is a turning lane. I was in the turning lane, sitting there, right there. I was sitting there. There was cars here waiting to turn to go onto Highway 18. And my car, the rear end of it, I was already sitting here waiting for the light to turn green.
Then you were over the yellow line.
Correct.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Go ahead.
I was already sitting here waiting for the light to turn green.
Then you were over the yellow line.
Correct.
Can I see the bill to fix your car, please? After the accident, did she take off?
Yes, and I followed.
Did you fix your car yet?
No.
Can I see a picture of it?
Yes. I have multiple pictures.
Were you giving
Yes,
a tick? The
I
answer
was.
is yes. Judgment for the plaintiff, the amount of $2,500.
That's
We're
not
finished.
okay.
Thank you.
You didn't even hear my witness or anything.
We're
Rude.
done.
Parties are excused and they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy...
He was speeding, and I was already in the turning lane.
I had just turned around the corner. I was not speeding.
I never tried to run away from her.
I was alarmed that she had taken off and didn't even check to see if I was okay.
Her mom should have her slow down because she's going to hurt somebody the way she was driving.
I know my daughter's responsible.
She lied.
I'm just glad it's settled.
It was a mutual altercation.
It was started by somebody.
A new conflict between old friends.
Antoinette had texted me and cursed me out. Barnetta is a busybody. She liked to be involved and stuff.
And a run-in they'll never forget.
It was just like an attack. We ended up on the floor. She was over me, straddling me, grabbing me like this. Once I kind of realized what was going on, I started to fight back.
What injuries did you suffer?
I had 2 brain surgeries after this incident.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Former friend Antoinette Coleman for a false restraining order and pain and suffering due to an assault.
Order. All rise. Now it's case number 302 on the calendar in the matter of Anderson versus Coleman.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, huh?
Miss Anderson, you and Miss Coleman used to be friends, and then, sadly, you had a falling out. Subsequent to the falling out on the 6th of November of last year, it is your claim that Miss Coleman assaulted you.
Yes.
Miss Coleman says it was a fight, but it was a fight that you started. You want to tell me where this happened?
Your Honor, can I start with how it happened, if that's okay with you?
Sure.
Okay, Your Honor, on June 13th, Antoinette and her cousins was on the phone. They was having an argument because Antoinette and her sister had slept with the...
No. We're not going to go back to talking about anybody else's bad business.
Yes.
Great.
Okay, well, Antoinette had texted me and cursed me out.
Is that the text message
Yes.
she sent you?
No,
I'd like
this
to...
is the text message, my reply, because I sent it to her witness and my witness because we were all hanging together. So I sent it to them so it wouldn't be any nonsense, my reply to her.
Just a second. I would like to see her text to you.
I don't have her text to me.
Do you have it?
No.
This happened a year ago, Your Honor.
I have the reply.
What's the reply going to do to me if I didn't see her text?
Okay, because it was just telling her that I didn't have anything to do with her family business. Leave me out of it.
Fine. Do you remember getting that text that she didn't have anything to do with your family business?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay,
so that was a while ago. That was in June.
Yes.
And?
So after this time, I was getting threatening messages. I told them then and there, please.
No, not them.
Antoinette and Andrea, her witness.
These two?
Yes, and their other sister. Please stop contacting me. I will call the police. It stopped after like 3-4 days. So this was June. Going to November the 6th, I have not had any contact with them at all. And at this time, myself, my witness, and another female was coming out of the Orpheum Theater. We seen some family members, close friends that we knew. We stopped and we talked to them. As we were standing there talking to them, one of the other people that was in her group came up, and I spoke to her. We were all just talking. At that time...
What was the name of that person?
Her name was Monica.
Was she with you that evening?
Yes.
Okay.
So she came in and came between us.
Who came between us?
Monica. She just came over, you know.
I don't So far, I'm not seeing that you had any contact with her at all. So far, you were talking to some of your friends. Somebody that was with her group came up and talked to you. Where was she?
I didn't know at this time.
Okay, so you didn't know?
Yes. So I was facing the wall to my back. I woke up. I was laying on the ground. I have a videotape right here that...
Just tell me what happened.
Okay, I woke up. She was over me, straddling me, grabbing me like this. I heard her witness, Andrea Coleman, hollering, let them fight, let them fight. She was right at my head, and I've seen
Who was
her.
it?
Andrea Coleman was at my head, and I seen her, and I thought she was attacking me also. So I immediately started to attack once I kind of realized what was going on. I started to fight back. That's when she bit my hand. And then a guy out the blue...
Who bit your hand?
Antoinette. And that's when a guy from the crowd came and grabbed her up off of me. And I saved their days because I'm trying to focus because I just woke up and I'm trying to figure out these people I've known for over 20 years. My kids and Andrea's kids are cousins. I could never believe that they were attacking me just out the blue. So I'm standing there, and then immediately I just left. I didn't tell my witness or anybody what I was doing. I went next door. I called the police, and I have the police statement.
I'd like to see it.
Here you go.
Now, Ms. Coleman, I would like you to tell me your version of it, and then I'm going to see the video.
Okay, on November 6th, we was at the comedy show, and like she said, prior to that, we got into an altercation over the phone.
In June?
Yes, back in June. Barnetta is a busybody. She liked to be involved in stuff.
I didn't let her tell me because I didn't think that the argument was about. Was I right about that?
Yeah, she was right.
Right. So I'm not going to let you tell me that she was a busybody.
Okay. So then at the Orpheum, how it's made, they have a downstairs and an upstairs. We were sitting downstairs, they were sitting upstairs. So we were coming out, they were coming down. So I seen Barnetta, but I proceeded to walk out of the Orpheum. Barnetta decided to follow me out of the Orpheum. So by then, all of these people is coming out of the Orpheum Theater. I get a few push from behind. I turn around, Barnetta Anderson is behind me. So I continue to walk out of the theater. But when we got outside of the theater, we stopped waiting for everybody else to come out the theater. Barnetta stopped right along with me, behind me. So by then, I'm agitated because I already done got pushed by you. So then,
well, you don't know who pushed you.
Well, I turned around, Barnetta was behind me.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
By then, I had confronted Barnetta like, you know, why are you following me? At this point, all I remember is her pushing me back, and then it was just like an attack. And we ended up on the floor because my sister tried to come and grab me. But when she grabbed me, she fell back, I fell back. Barnetta fell on top of me. That's why Barnetta had scrapes to the knees, because she fell on top of me. I pushed Barnetta off of me. And when I pushed Barnetta off of me, that's when the tape shows me on top of Barnetta. Barnetta never blacked out. Barnetta
was started by somebody. Did she get an order of protection against you?
We both had one.
No.
Yes, she did.
She did?
Yes.
She filed for protective order. Did you have a hearing?
Yes.
And was she granted a protective order?
Yes.
Did you file a protective order?
Yes.
Did you get a protective order?
They put a temporary, yes.
Not temporary. Did you ultimately get a protective order?
Yes.
Let me see it. For how long?
Until we actually had our hearing.
Did you have a hearing?
Yes.
Is my question. Now,
yes.
what happened after the hearing?
After the hearing.
It was dismissed.
It was dismissed.
Correct. So she filed for protective order. You had a hearing. Court heard that testimony because it all relates to the same night, and her protective order was granted. After she filed for protective order, you filed for protective order. You had a hearing. Court heard your testimony. I assume you brought any witnesses that you wanted to.
No, my witness wasn't able to make it.
I suppose you brought any witness with all these people who were around who would have testified on your behalf. Court heard the testimony and dismissed your application for a protective order. Said you didn't need it, didn't believe you. Now I'll see the tape.
Your Honor, we also have a voicemail also. Andrea Coleman, like maybe 10 minutes after the fight, when she talked about what had happened and I got what I deserved. And it's very vulgar. I don't know if you want to hear it here in court.
Oh, I love vulgarity.
Okay. As you can see in that tape, Your Honor, I'm not moving. That's me with my hands up, not moving. Andrea's at my head and Antoinette's on top of me. You see my legs is not moving at this time, Your Honor.
But your arms are.
Yeah, because you're shaking me.
Are you wearing the green sweater?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. This is the guy pulling her off of me, Your Honor. And now he's exiting her out the door. We were never outside.
No, he wasn't exiting me. Someone else was.
So you was outside the door again.
What injuries did you suffer?
Your Honor, I have pictures also. Actually,
I'd like to see them.
I have of the before and the after. I still have the scar on my forehead and also on my legs. I also have a medical. I went straight to the doctor. After I took those pictures in the ambulance and I went to the hospital, I had various injuries to my head where she pulled out my hair.
Are these stitches in your forehead?
No, that's actually a dent which I still have in my head from where I hit my head on something which made me pass out. I have a condition called Chiari malformation which caused you to be dizzy and unstable. I had 2 brain surgeries after this incident. I would never attack her when I'm already dealing with instability.
I would like to hear the voice message. Did you call her?
Yes.
And she was there. She was the one standing.
You have 2 saved messages. Saved message. At the end of the day, tell your talk.
I can't hear that. I can't understand. You're going to have to... Nice. I'm done. Ms. Coleman, all I have to do is tell you this. You are defined by your language.
That's not even me on that phone call.
Who is it?
I don't know.
That's not you?
That is not me on that phone call.
She said she called Barnetta, not her.
That's somebody else's phone. Listen to the phone number. Ask Barnetta what's her phone number.
That was Andrea Coleman, and she also works at the hospital.
And?
So that's how she acts.
Okay, it's a relatively easy case for me. Court of competent jurisdiction has already heard your complaint against each other, found in favor of the plaintiff. I'm going to do the same. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Please excuse me, step out.
Because Barnetta is a busybody and she likes to be in stuff that don't have nothing to do with her.
Well, actually, I'm very happy that she's seen the truth and knew that that was the truth.
Because she was speaking on things that didn't have nothing to do with her.
These women are very vicious, and
she threw the first blow.
By the voicemail you can hear, they're dangerous.
She got what she deserved.
Oh, yeah, I feel like, yeah, she should have to pay.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Rykuber versus Elliott. Step forward.
Janie and Gary Rykuber say Ken Elliott owes for the return of their deposit on a chapel for their daughter's wedding.
Mr. and Mrs. Rykuber, you were planning your daughter's wedding.
Yes.
Is that your only daughter?
Yes, it is.
And when was the wedding to take place?
March 14, 2015.
You went to a venue that was owned by the defendant.
Yes.
How did you find that venue?
My daughter and her fiance were driving by and saw, said, we'll take...
Okay. You could stand up and tell me, because your parents weren't with you. Tell me your first name.
Diana.
Diana, when did you see the venue?
We saw it in July, shortly after my fiance and I had just been engaged. And we thought the building was beautiful, and they had a sign out.
Do you have pictures of it?
We do.
I'd like to take a look at it.
There you go. We thought the building was beautiful, so we stopped.
It was a pretty building. It would make a nice courthouse, too.
Yes, it would.
Did you own this venue, Mr. Elliott?
I did not.
Who owned the venue?
Ron Smith.
He told us he owned it.
Don't speak.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
These are very nice things that you had printed out with your cell phone number on it, under new ownership. But that's a lie.
It really wasn't.
No, it is a lie. You clearly gave it to them. They didn't steal it out of your attaché case.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Janie and Gary Rykuber say Ken Elliott owes for the return of their deposit on a chapel for their daughter's wedding.
Now, how do you know Ron Smith?
The sign out front had his name or number on it, and I called him. I was interested in purchasing the building. He's a contractor, and we actually had not entered into a contract, but we were in negotiations to purchase the building.
Who's we? And
I'm sorry, I was in negotiations to purchase it.
In what month and year?
I was to purchase the building after he had completed...
Just a second. Month and year that you began negotiations on the building.
I'm sorry, July of 2014.
And am I correct that there was never a writing of any kind between you and Mr. Smith?
That is true.
So, for all intents and purposes, you have no connection with this building. You are not a rentor, you are not an owner, and he wasn't paying you to manage it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, there is a phone number here that's crossed out and written. Whose number is 316-86?
That's mine.
Your number.
Right.
And they're not good guessers, so they didn't pick this number at random. So I must assume that you crossed out the number that's printed on this document and wrote in your own number.
No,
somebody had to write it in, sir.
Somebody, but I don't know that it was me.
Is that your cell phone?
It's my business phone. It's a cell phone.
Is your cell phone? Is that your cell phone? If I were to call you, that number, would it buzz in your pocket?
It does go to my cell phone.
Okay, so they're not good guessers. You crossed out the number and put in your own number.
I don't know that I crossed it out.
Yes, you did.
Unless I initialed it.
Yes, you did. Crossed it out and you put in your number. Now, how much money did you take from the plaintiffs?
Approximately.
I don't want to know approximately.
$3,413, and that was the first half, a little bit less than the first half of the total wedding.
I didn't ask you for 2014 and March of 2015. Did you ever finalize in any way a negotiation with Ron Smith?
No, we did not.
Did not. Okay. Were you married at this chapel?
No, Your Honor.
Tell me, since you loved it, what happened?
Well, my fiance and I began making plans. We did have a couple of meetings with Ken Elliott and Marcy here, who is the wedding
With Mr.
planner.
Elliott?
Correct.
Now, did Mr. Elliott in these meetings ever hold himself out to be the owner of this?
Yes, he did.
Of course, otherwise you would say, why would I give him money?
Correct.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
There was no heat in the building.
There was heat in the building.
Kansas. So if I had any brains, and clearly these people have brains, I would say to myself, I've got to find an alternative venue and not risk people have to wear their mucklucks and their boots to the wedding.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Janie and Gary Rykuber say Ken Elliott owes for the return of their deposit on a chapel for their daughter's wedding.
Now, he said he owned the premises.
Yes, he did.
Okay. Do you have any, other than your word, do you have any proof of that?
It says under new owner on it.
Well, these are the very nice things that you had printed out with your cell phone number on it, under new ownership, the Grand Chapel. But that's a lie.
It really wasn't.
No, it is a lie. You don't own it. You didn't own it when you printed these things. You don't own it now. And you clearly gave it to them. They didn't steal it out of your attaché case.
No, we did.
No.
We gave it to them. However...
I don't want to hear a however. Now, you loved the venue.
I did.
So why didn't you have your wedding there?
Because my fiance and I definitely had cold feet when we drove by the building, saw a neon sign on the door. We went up to the sign, read it, which we also have a picture of, a
I'd
photo
like to
of.
see the sign.
And it stated that the building had closed. And the reasoning was that there was a boiler that wasn't working.
Just a second.
And we had never
So this
been
is what you saw.
contacted.
Okay.
Correct.
And you saw this February 7th.
Yes.
2015, and your
Correct.
wedding was scheduled for a month later.
Correct.
Okay, so that got you worried.
Very disheartening.
That got you worried.
Yes.
So building has no heat, and they don't have enough money to put in heat, so they're doing fundraisers. They did a mystery dinner theater, but that didn't raise enough money. They're going to try to do another fundraiser.
We're not responsible for paying for those repairs or for the heat.
I don't care. There was no heat in the building.
There was
in
heat
Kansas.
in the building. There was heat in the building, and we
Please.
did get heat in the building.
Please, Mr. Elliott. Mr. Elliott, why in the world would you, I mean, are you a businessman? Clearly you have some money. You have to have some money because otherwise you wouldn't be in negotiations with Ron Smith to buy this historic building. So why in the world would you put yourself in a position of not returning their $3,400? They didn't have the wedding there. There was good reason why they weren't sending out invitations to a building that at that point, a month before the wedding, didn't have heat. So if I had any brains, and clearly these people have brains, I would say to myself, I've got to find an alternative venue for my wedding and not risk coming to March 14th and having people have to wear their mucklucks and their boots to the wedding. So why wouldn't you just return their $3,400?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
So why wouldn't you just return their $3,400?
Because we repaired the boiler in the facility after that was printed up, and we did get heat boiler fixed, and we did have heat.
Show me.
Your Honor.
Just a second. Show me.
That the boiler worked?
No, show me the paid bill for the repair of the boiler that either you paid or Ron paid. Show me the paid bill.
I don't have that.
$3,400. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done.
Step out. Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Well, I'm very pleased because it was very hard planning a wedding without a venue.
If the problems would have been an issue for their wedding, absolutely.
We've tried contacting him so many times.
But the problems, like the lack of heat, was fixed, and the other problems were not.
So we were trying to get to the end of it. He wouldn't even call us back.
Problems that would have impacted their wedding, so...
It was very disheartening, considering that he didn't even try reaching out to us.
They should have contacted me and said something.
To let us know that the building had closed and we didn't have a wedding venue.
I guess to be a little bit more careful in the future, I don't know.
I'm glad she had a beautiful wedding, and so it all turned out okay.
I find Miss Reeves in my living room.
Did you let her in?
She kind of like pushed away and...
This former girlfriend has a different take.
I asked him for some money, and he agreed, and he let me in.
Who let one call say otherwise?
She's right here with me right now. Please get here.
So?
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
20-year-old Orlando Hernandez is suing his ex-girlfriend, 20-year-old Montiel Reeves, for intentionally damaging his property and assault.
Order. All rise. Now it's case number 306 on the calendar in the matter of Hernandez versus Reeves.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Miss Reeves, how long were you and Mr. Hernandez a couple?
About 4 years.
And during a period of that time, he was incarcerated?
Yes.
And while he was incarcerated, did you visit with him?
No.
When he came out of jail, did you renew your relationship?
No.
So he came out of prison when, Mr. Hernandez?
January 19th of 2014, actually. I was incarcerated in juvenile hall.
For how long?
Almost 6 months.
So it's been a long time since you had a relationship of any kind with Miss Reeves. And how old were you then?
I was 17.
And how old were you, Mr. Hernandez? What happened on July 24th of this year?
Well, on July 24th, I was out walking my dog, and I had got a call from my friend here that Miss Reeves was at my doorstep looking for me.
Would you stand up, please? Tell me your name, sir.
Benny Ma.
Are you a neighbor?
Friend.
Were you at his house?
Yeah.
Were you staying at his house that day?
Yeah, because I usually go over there and play games with him.
And about what time was this that you called and said Miss Reeves was at the door?
I do not know per se. It was like around noonish time.
In the afternoon?
Yeah.
Where were you, Mr. Hernandez?
I was out walking my dog, about 15 minutes away.
Prior to July 24th, when had you last seen Miss Reeves?
I want to say about a month and a half or 2 months before when she, again, rushed into my house.
What do you mean rushed into your house?
She came into my house again, uninvited.
Did you ever report her to the police?
Yes, I did. And I tried filing for a restraining order, and I was denied.
Before that, so let's say this was in July, you're talking about June, May, April, March. Did you have any social interaction with her at all?
None at all. None.
So you haven't been out with her on a date?
No.
Since you were 17?
Pretty much.
So you turned around, you got a call from your friend who was at your house, you turned around, you got back to your house with your dog. What kind of a dog do you have? Back to the house, and?
I find Miss Reeves in my living room, and...
Did you let her in?
Kind of. She kind of like pushed her way in.
Well, what does that mean? You said kind of.
Yeah, like...
Did you let her in?
No, she like pushed her way a little bit.
What is a little bit?
Like, I was like hesitant on letting her in, but then when she like just started pushing, I just like let her in.
And what did she do?
I just waited there and I called Orlando.
Did she tell you to call Orlando?
No, she said she was looking for him.
Did she say why?
No.
Why were you looking for him?
I was not looking for him.
What were you doing in his living room?
I wasn't in his living room.
Where
he
were
let
you?
me in. He let me in.
Who let you in?
I called him prior to that because I asked him for some money, and he agreed, and he let me in.
Who let you in?
Orlando.
Orlando is Mr. Hernandez?
Yes.
So he let you in?
Yes.
Not his friend?
No.
Okay. So you hadn't actually seen him in a couple of months, is that right?
Yes.
Now, when you last saw him, did he call the police?
No.
Never called the police?
No.
You were never interviewed by the police?
No, just that day of that incident.
You mean on July 24th?
Yes.
Now, what did you call him for?
If he can lend me $20.
Why?
Because I was in need of some money at the time.
Well, you hadn't seen him in a very long time.
I haven't, but when he got out,
He got out in 2014.
Your Honor, he was let out 2015, January 2015.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
2015. What did you need $20 for?
For my personal need.
No, tell me what you need $20 for.
To buy some snacks or anything.
You needed
like
snacks?
That. Yeah.
What happened, Mr. Hernandez, when you got back with the dog?
Well, I proceeded to let her know that, you know, she's not wanted there. She needs to leave. At this point, she starts arguing back with me, and I immediately call the cops and get them on the line.
What do you do for a living, Miss Reeves?
I work at TJ Maxx.
And you, Mr. Hernandez?
I take care of my father.
What's wrong with him?
He's disabled.
Do you live with him?
Currently, yes.
What is that? That's a hesitation, Mr. Hernandez.
Well, my dad, he gave up his apartment, and he's going to be moving into it. He's waiting to get certified for a brand new apartment before he moves in, so I told him, you know, he can stay with me, you know, until he gets his place.
So he stays with you?
Yes, at this moment, but during that time, he wasn't.
Are you paid as a caregiver for him?
Yes, I am.
By whom?
IHSS.
How much do you get?
About $1,400.
A what?
A month.
How old is your father?
He's 45.
What's the nature of his disability?
He's double below amputee.
Did he have a caregiver other than you before?
Yes, he has.
How long have you been his caregiver?
About June of 2015.
Did you finish your GED when you were incarcerated?
Yes, I graduated of, well, June 2nd of this year.
So tell me, now you turned around, came home, you found her in the living room.
Yeah.
You called the police,
yeah,
and they recorded the incident of what was going on in your house.
Yes.
Do you have something to show me?
Yes, I do. I have video of the assault and, excuse me, and everything that took place that day.
Because what you claim is Miss Reeves assaulted you?
Yes.
And in addition to assaulting you, she caused damage to your home?
Yes, she has.
I'd like to see.
I need assistance right now.
Okay, I cannot hear you with the yelling. Can you exit the apartment?
I told you it's 164. She just broke my headphones right now. Ma'am, I would expect you to track my location right now. You guys got technology like that. Record my location. She broke my headphones right now. She put her hands on me. Okay, I said my address is 2264. Get her now, please. She put her hands on me.
What is your last name?
Hernandez. She put her hands on me. Now she's slamming my door and doing damage to 96. My friend's a witness. She threw this at me. Well, she has weed on her, and she's breaking out my window right now. She locked my door, and she's breaking out my window. Maybe call the cops. Hey, she's right here with me right now. Please get here.
Man, what?
No.
What? No.
Your hands on me. Do that phone at me right now. Benny, call the cops. Follow me. No, you just put your hands on me. You're on recording. You're on recording. Hey, Benny, call the cops. You guys need to get here now.
So?
I didn't destroy any of his property.
I don't believe the $20. Let's start with that. What were you doing in his apartment, Miss Reeves?
He agreed to give me money.
I don't believe you. You want to tell me what you were doing in the apartment?
He was going to give me money. He let me in. I did not force my way into his apartment.
When you saw him on the phone with the police, which I saw, where were you?
I was in the room.
What room?
His bedroom.
Okay. Now, I saw you walk through the corridor. That was you.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you just leave?
He wouldn't let me leave out the door. I was in the room.
He was on the phone with the police. All he wanted you to do was get out.
He wasn't going to let me out.
How did you know that? He wasn't blocking the door.
Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know what he would do to me. So I just locked myself in the room and jumped out the window.
Now, you have pictures of the damage.
I have the police report of that day, too.
The headphones here?
Headphones, too. I'm going to take a look at the police report, and I would like to see the headphones.
Also, I have receipts. Police report? Yes.
Same report?
Yes. Yes.
You weren't injured, were you?
She punched me.
You say she slapped you in the face.
No, I got hit right here in my lower jaw and my neck.
Did it require medical attention?
No. I was
Okay.
more concerned with my safety at the time.
You have a restraining order against the plaintiff?
Yes.
When did you get a restraining order against him?
December 29th, 2014.
2 years ago?
Yes.
Why?
It was ordered by the court. They thought I needed protection from him.
Why?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You had to have applied for a protective order.
I didn't. I was in Marjorie Mason.
What is that?
It's like a house for women that have been domestic violence and stuff like that.
Well, who was the victim of domestic violence?
Me.
And who was the perpetrator of the domestic violence?
Him.
And that was in 2014. So he was 17, you were 17, and what did he do to you?
He lacerated my knee. He threw me in some glass.
You remember that?
Yes.
I have the medical record for that.
He admits that he did that. Then why did you go to his apartment? Because you needed money for snacks?
Yes.
That doesn't sound normal to me. Does it sound normal to you?
No.
Not to me either.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He wanted to have sex with you, and then he would give you money. She looked back at the bedroom door, and she saw the roommate blocking the door.
They were both at the door.
That's not what you just told me a moment ago. You told me he was in the living room playing a game.
And later today,
You got the insurance check that he negotiated for $6,500. Because you're a smart lady, you already have $6,500 in your hand. And then he says you fired him and hired somebody else to do it cheaper.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Orlando Hernandez says ex-girlfriend Montiel Reeves barged in and assaulted him.
Now, how did these get broken?
I don't know. I didn't break him. I didn't destroy any of his property. I tried to leave. I tried to leave the scene.
Where was his roommate?
In the living room, playing the game.
What kind of game was he playing?
Fallout, something like that.
When did you first see his roommate?
Oh, I know him.
No, when did you see him that day?
When I was let in the house by Orlando.
And where was he?
Orlando was in the living room.
And where was his roommate?
In the living room.
And who opened the door and let you in?
Orlando.
How many bedrooms are there in that apartment?
2.
You went through the bedroom window of Mr. Hernandez's room?
Yes.
And his roommate was in his room playing games?
No, he was in the living room playing the game.
How did you know he was in the living room?
Because when I got there, he was there on the game.
And when you went into the bedroom, you assumed he was still in the living room?
Yes.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you what you told the police. Because after they interviewed him and you knew you were in trouble, you called the police. Because you figured you were in trouble. And you said that Mr. Hernandez let you into his apartment, and he told you to go to the bedroom and he would get her some money. You told the police when she walked into his bedroom, she looked behind her and saw Mr. Hernandez's roommate follow her and stand in the doorway. That's what you told the police. And Mr. Hernandez said to you he wanted, and said she looked back at the bedroom door and she saw the roommate blocking the door by standing in the doorway with his arms against the door jamb. You forgot all about that.
They were both at the door.
That's not what you just told me a moment ago. You told me he was in the living room playing a game.
Yes, he went to the living room. Before anything started, he was in the living room.
I didn't ask you when everything started. I asked you where he was. You said he was in the living room.
Yes,
you didn't tell me that he was blocking the door by crossing his arms, not letting you out of the bedroom.
Before anything happened, he was in the living room.
She said she pushed Mr. Hernandez and told him that that was not going to happen and she was going to kick his... She said she pushed past Mr. Hernandez and his roommate with minimal force and left the apartment to call the police. You just told me you went out through the window.
I did go through
That's not what you told the police. That's not what you told the police. You told them you pushed past the bedroom door, pushed past both of them with minimal force, and left the apartment to call the police.
Through the window.
Yeah, okay, good.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
I want to see the bill or your check to the contracting company who ultimately finished the job.
Well, they're still working on the job because it took a long time for
Ms. Burkett.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Orlando Hernandez says ex-girlfriend Montiel Reeves barged into his home, damaged his property, and assaulted him.
Okay, can I see the damage to the window? And how much were these?
Those are 411 after.
What?
Those were 379, 411 after tax.
Leave him alone. He doesn't want to be bothered with you anymore.
Okay.
Now, you have out-of-pocket damages of $456. That includes the screen that was fixed.
Yes.
And the headphones.
Yes.
You're suing her also for an assault.
Yes, I am.
And I'm telling you that I'm going to award you another $500 for the assault.
Okay.
$956. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done.
Okay.
Leave him alone.
Excuse me, step out.
You know, I'm happy. I'm happy the way things came out.
I don't have nothing to say.
She wasn't invited. I knew nothing about that. She came on her own will.
I don't have nothing to say.
Well, judging on the last time she had came to my place, she wanted to throw herself on me for some money.
I want him to leave me alone.
Well, I hope she leaves me alone since made my life a lot better than what it was.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Burkett versus Menino. Step forward.
Tanika Burkett is suing contractor Joseph Menino for the return of her deposit on work he never performed.
Ms. Burkett, you had a problem with one of your bathrooms, and allegedly you retained the defendant to do the work on the bathroom.
Yes, ma'am.
He came up with an estimate for the job, which was how much, sir?
It totaled out to be $6,500.
Was that $6,500 figure arrived at with her insurance company?
It was.
So the $6,500 was arrived at with her insurance company to do whatever work. She gave you a $2,500 deposit.
Correct.
That's what you're suing for back? You say he didn't do the job, you got somebody else to do it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're going to tell me why you got somebody else to do it. I want to see the bill from the other contracting company who actually did the job. I want to see the paid bill or your check to the contracting company who ultimately finished the job. May I see it, please?
We're still working on the job.
Well, then you brought your suit prematurely. I'm not giving you your money back. You got $6,500. I don't know how much you paid to have the job done.
Well, they're still working on the job because it took a long time for him.
Ms. Burkett, I have proof of what it cost you to fix the bathroom with a paid bill and your check. You're not getting any money back from the defendant. I'm going to tell you why.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, what he says is that you got the insurance check that he negotiated for $6,500, which he probably padded, and then he says you fired him and hired somebody else to do it cheaper. So I have to find out how much the other company is charging you to do the bathroom. And it's disingenuous of you to say to me they're still working on it because you would have had an estimate from them. Nobody pays hourly and materials. You would have gotten a full estimate. This is what I will charge you to do the bathroom. Because you're a smart lady, you already have $6,500 in your hand.
He didn't even give me an estimate.
He didn't
never
have,
wrote me up
listen
an
to
estimate.
me. He doesn't have to give you an estimate. Because at the time, you didn't have any money coming out of your pocket. As long as the money wasn't coming out of your pocket, he said, you make the arrangements with the insurance company. Well, now you have $6,500 in your bank account, which is what he negotiated with the insurance company for his fee, and then you fired him. Now, if you got a contractor to do the job for $4,000 in the bathroom, that means that you're pocketing $2,500. And in addition to pocketing the $2,500, you want more money from him. So I'm not hearing your case until I see a paid bill and your check to a plumber or contractor who did your bathroom. Do you understand?
I understand what you're saying.
Great. So your case is dismissed without prejudice. We're done here.
Wow.
Parties are excused.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I had to have someone else come out and do the work because I can't afford to hire another contractor because he took money from me.
I don't really know. I invested a lot of time. I disagree with what she says.
No, he was lazy, and then he didn't show up half the time.
I would disagree with that, too. We went shopping like 3 different times.
Because he basically stole $2,500 from me. I gave him a check for $2,500.
We redesigned things 3 different times.
To do the bathroom, and he never showed up to do the work.
I worked at the house.
And then I think that he was on drugs and stuff. Don't call Joe.
Be a little careful, right? Yeah, and get your contractor's name on the check from the insurance company.
You hit a brand new car, you had no insurance, and you were dodging her.
A driver wishing it would all go away.
But you gave her a phony number when she wrote down your number.
No, I did not.
Oh, yes, you did.
But this crash victim wouldn't let it go.
She came to my house and she actually rang my doorbell.
Because she wanted her money. You're suing her for harassing you. So let's understand what the ground rules are here.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Velvet Polk is suing Jeanette Wilson for vandalizing her car and harassment.
Order. All rise. It's case number 305 on the calendar, the matter of Polk versus Wilson.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. May be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Ms. Polk, I read the complaint and the answer and the counterclaim in this case. And what I'm getting from both of you is that you were involved in an automobile accident with the defendant.
Yes.
It appears the defendant was driving a brand new car. She had gotten it a day or so before, correct?
Yes.
And it had insurance on it, correct?
Yes.
After the accident, which took place in a parking lot?
Yes.
After the accident, the defendant went to the police station. You were supposed to follow her.
No. Yes.
Just a second. Had you exchanged information?
Yes, I gave her my name.
You gave her your name?
My name and my number, yes.
Name and phone number.
Yes.
Did you give her your insurance card?
I did not give her my insurance card. My insurance card came out with my valid driver's license. She thought I had insurance, but I told her I hadn't paid my insurance
Just
bill.
a second. So the problem was you were driving your car that was uninsured.
Yes.
That's the problem. Now, she used her insurance to fix her car, but she had a $1,000 deductible. That was your responsibility. Let's get the facts of this case straight out, because I have a feeling you're not processing what this is all about, because you're suing her for harassing you.
Yes.
Because she wanted her money.
Yes.
Other than that, she wouldn't have called you. She wouldn't have called you 100 times or 50 times. She wanted her money because you were driving around, you hit her brand new car, you had no insurance, and you were dodging her.
I was not dodging her.
Absolutely. Did you give her $1,000?
No.
So let's understand what the ground rules are here. Your allegation is that Miss Wilson vandalized your car.
Yes.
And the accident to her car that you caused happened on what date?
It happened on May 13th.
Now, she had your name and telephone number. Did you ever speak to her on the phone?
Well, she didn't. She claimed she didn't. I didn't give her the. She didn't write down the right number at first, so she called Progressive, and Progressive was calling me, and I told Progressive to give her my right phone number.
So not only did you give her no insurance card because you didn't have one, but you gave her a phony number when she wrote down your number.
No, I did not.
Oh, yes, you did. Oh, yes, you did.
I didn't give her a phony number. That's
Yes.
why I told Progressive to give her the actual
That
phone
was
number.
that was only because you got called by what you considered an authority.
Well, no, she
But at the street, when you asked her for your name, you gave her your name, didn't give her your license, didn't give her registration for the car, didn't give her anything, and you gave her a telephone number that turned out to be wrong.
Because she wrote it down wrong.
No. She's driving a brand new car that you just hit in an accident that was your fault. I guarantee you Miss Wilson did not write down the number wrong, because that doesn't make sense. What makes sense is that you were smarty pants and gave her the wrong number and figured she would go away. Well, she vandalized your car.
May 17th.
I'd like to see a police report.
Your Honor, I have a copy of the police report, too.
Just a second. I'd like to see it. Is it the same report?
It's not dated the 17th.
Okay. I'd like to see what you have. Well, first of all, this says that this happened on July 7th.
That police report says it happened on October 5th.
This report says it happened on July 7th. And this says it happened on October 5th.
That's the date when I got the actual police reports. That's the incident when I called, when she came out to my house.
It says date 7/7, description, scratches passenger door, 3-car tires. And this says the occurrence was from October 5th. Actually, it says the occurrence date was on October 5th.
And there's a narrative, too, Your Honor.
Okay, so now I'm going to read what the narrative is. The victim, that would be you, says, on May 17th, upon arising, I spoke to the victim, Violet Polk, who stayed on Monday the 16th and 800 hours on the 17th. An unknown suspect damaged her 2012 Dodge Charger by slashing tires and putting scratches on the driver's side, passenger side.
Yes.
So your car was vandalized?
Yes.
And?
Well, I said it was...
Don't raise your hand.
Well, because when I was talking to her the day before, and we was back and forth in argument, she was...
What were you arguing about?
Saying that she wanted the money damages to her car. She found out where I stayed at, and she was going to come to my house.
Why didn't you say to her, I'm sorry, I didn't have insurance. Can I work up a payment plan for you to pay off your deductible?
Yes, I did tell her.
No, you didn't.
I have
Absolutely
it. Yes,
not.
I do. I have it in Texas where I told her, because when the accident, when I got out, it was some minor scratches, and I told her that if she didn't, she said she knew somebody. I said I knew somebody as well, and we said it would be no more than a few $100s. I looked at the car. She never got out of her car. She never once got out of her car. She never called the police or anything. But I have it in Texas. We discussed a few $100s. I sent her a text to her phone, and I said, you got greedy. I told her, I said, you got greedy, and then you went and got estimates. I sent her a text.
Just a second.
Your Honor?
Her insurance, which she had, fixed her car, but she had a $1,000 deductible.
Yes.
Get it out, and Officer Byrd will take it.
Your Honor,
Just a second. You reported an unknown person vandalized your car. Connect the defendant with that unknown person who vandalized your car. Connect it.
I have voicemails where she has threatened me, saying she have came to my house and know where I stayed at.
Okay.
And she have looked me up on the internet.
I know where she stayed.
Just a second. So, connect her with the vandalism to your car.
You want me to show you the app? You want me to show you?
No, I want you to connect her to the vandalism, and if you want to speak to these two young ladies, maybe they can help you. Neither one of you witnessed her vandalizing the car. No way.
Your Honor,
there was
way.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
No, just a second. No way, because this police report was the next.
There's three different incidents. There's three different times that she came. My car was vandalized.
Voicemails, text messages, and everything.
Don't speak.
Your Honor, I never seen these ladies before in my life.
Just a second.
Sorry, Your Honor, there are 3 different incidents. There's a tire being slashed. There's when she came to my house on October 4th, and she actually rung my doorbell.
In October? You mean you hadn't paid her by October?
No, I didn't pay. I was trying to get a lawyer to file bankruptcy, but my tires had been slashed. Once I was trying to get the money, my tires was getting slashed. My car was steady being vandalized. I seen her vandalize my car.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, on the
Just a second. Show me your police report. Okay. I just want to see. So far, I've read a police report that says unknown suspect.
Here you go.
Now,
these are the other 2 police reports.
Fine. I'm going to take a look at them.
I have pictures.
Your Honor, give her the text.
I don't want to.
Okay. I have my pictures. I have my voicemails. I have the text messages. I have everything.
All I will hear anything and look at anything where she admits vandalizing your car.
Can you hear the voicemail where she threatens her, Your Honor?
No.
Oh.
And don't shout out again, I'll put you out. Were you ever contacted by the police about any vandalism?
No, ma'am. I even went to the police department to get a copy of the fake police report she wrote on me.
Now go. Out.
If you read the narrative, Judge Judy, on the police report I gave you, I have something to contradict what she's saying.
All I know is she called the police. She said you would come to her house, and she saw you pass by her car on that day out to look at her car, and that was on
October 4th. She came 2 nights in a row, October 4th and the 5th.
Just a second. This was on October 3rd is what the report says.
October 3rd.
Oh, well, so it wasn't the 4th or the 5th. It was October 3rd.
Okay, October 3rd and October 4th, because she came 2 days in a row.
But the police report that I have, Your Honor, says October 5th.
May I see it?
I gave it to you.
Oh, that one says the 5th.
Can I tell you why it says the 5th?
But look at read the narrative, Your Honor.
Because on the night of the 4th, it was at 11 o'clock. So when they came out and actually called my phone, I had went to sleep. They called 2:40 in the morning. So when I seen I had a missed call when I was taking my daughter to school at 7, I called them back, which was the next day.
So what were you taking your daughter to school in?
On a flat tire.
What were you taking your daughter to school in? In your car?
Yes.
And who insures your car now? Give me the name of the company that insures your car.
Acceptance.
We're going to stop here right now, and you're going to go outside and get me a copy of your updated insurance to show me that your car is currently insured.
Okay.
Great. We'll be back.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If your license are suspended, nobody's going to insure you.
Your license was suspended on July 22nd, 2016. Why was your license so far? We're not in a good situation, you and I, because you started out by not telling me the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because so far, you've lied to me 4 or 5 times in a span of 5 minutes.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Velvet Polk says Jeanette Wilson vandalized her car and harassed her. Jeanette is countersuing for car damage, a false police report, and emotional distress.
Now, I'll take a look at it. So this accident happened in May, and you finally got insurance in July.
Yes.
Now I'll hear you.
I've never heard of an insurance company insuring somebody with suspended license. I contacted the Ohio Bureau of Motor Vehicles and told them what happened. They sent
Don't tell me. Just let me see what they sent you.
If your license are suspended, nobody's going to insure you.
Your license was suspended on July 22nd, 2016. Your insurance was effective July 9th. Why was your license suspended in July?
Well, that's because I hadn't made arrangements to pay her. So they said insurance had called the BMV and had got my license insurance. They had sent me
Do you
something.
have a license? Was your license reinstated?
No, but they gave me my license back.
Was your license reinstated?
No, my license has not been reinstated yet.
So what were you doing driving your daughter to school in October?
Because she didn't have a way to school.
Your case is dismissed. Judgment for the defendant on her counterclaim for $1,000. We're done.
Can I say something, Judge?
Your case is dismissed.
Okay.
You do the wrong thing. When you do the wrong thing, you don't come to court and ask for their help. Let me tell you what you did. You drove a car without insurance. I don't know why you didn't have insurance. You finally got insurance 2 months after you caused damage to her car. Then they suspended your license. I don't know why they suspended your license, but they suspended it in July, and you still continue to drive. You don't get rewarded by courts for that. Do you understand? And you gave her a wrong phone number. I mean, I understand everything that you did, but then don't come to court and say, poor me, I'm a victim.
Judge, I did not give her the wrong phone. I'm
Judgment on the counterclaim for $1,000. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I admit that what I did was an accident.
She hit my car.
But what she did was intentionally her coming to my house.
No, I did not.
Threatening me, came to my house several times, damaged my car.
No.
I don't know why the police didn't arrest her.
To drive with insurance.
No, it has not been fixed.
All parties in the matter of Brown versus Thomas. Step forward.
Charles Brown is suing his ex-girlfriend, Victoria Thomas, for a stolen laptop.
Mr. Brown, Miss Thomas used to be your girlfriend. This lawsuit is about a laptop.
Yes, ma'am.
A laptop that you claim Miss Thomas took with her when the two of you separated and she left.
Yes, ma'am.
And you acknowledge that she purchased it, but your claim is that you gave her $400 in addition to the money that she owed in rent to make up for the cost of the laptop. It was yours.
Right.
Miss Thomas says, no, it's her laptop. Okay, so let's go back a bit with you, Miss Thomas. When did you move in with Mr. Brown?
I never stayed with Mr. Brown.
Well, you did stay with him because he gave you a key to his apartment. That's
Right.
what you said in your answer.
Yes, Your Honor.
So that you did stay with him.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so let's not play.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
I read what I read.
Okay.
Fine.
So,
When?
the month of June.
June what?
I don't know the exact date, but the month of June,
Well,
I stayed with
you
him.
had been living with your family before.
Yes, Your Honor. So I stayed with him the month of June.
And they asked you to leave, or you decided to leave on your own?
He asked me to move with him, Your Honor.
Okay, so now he asked you to move in with him.
But I stayed with him only the month of June.
Were you working at the time?
No, Your Honor.
So that by not telling me the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If he gives me a key and I only stay there 3 days a week, does that mean I moved in with him? I had moved back home. We were on and off because he was head of infidelity. That's why I'm trying to, I don't understand that.
Oh, you understand me just fine.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Charles Brown says ex-girlfriend Victoria Thomas stole his laptop.
Now, how much was the laptop and when did you buy it?
I bought the laptop in June, but it's not charged till July the 26th.
On what date does it say it was purchased?
It says it was charged on July 27th.
July 27th.
July 26th.
We're still not doing well here, you and I. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Okay.
Now, when you moved in with Mr. Brown, you took your property from your parents' house?
Not all my property. I still have property at my parents' house.
What property did you take with you? Be very careful.
Yes, Your Honor.
What were you doing when you were living with your parents?
Looking for a job.
Had you gone to school?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
What school?
Virginia College for respiratory therapy. And I'm also in the Army Reserve.
When did you last go to college?
16.
You had a laptop when you were in college.
No, Your Honor, I didn't.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
I didn't have a laptop when
I don't believe you.
I understand that.
Yeah, because so far you've lied to me 4 or 5 times in a span of 5 minutes.
I'm not trying to lie to you, Your Honor.
Well, but you did.
Yes,
you understand you did when you first started. I said, when did you move in with him? You said, I never moved in with him.
I have a question. If he gives me a key and I only stay there 3 days a week, does that mean I moved in with him if all my belongings are not there? That's why I'm trying to, I don't understand that.
Oh, you understand me just fine.
Okay.
How many years did you go to college?
2.
You had a laptop. Who paid your tuition?
The military, Your Honor.
Did you also get paid from the military?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you lived at home?
Yes, Your Honor.
Great. You had a computer.
I didn't have a computer.
Oh, yes, you did. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, you did. Military paid for your education. Military probably paid for a computer. Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by.
Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook.
Now, when did you give her the $400? On what date?
I gave it to her like in pieces. The last last $200 I gave her was on August the 19th, the day before she stole the laptop. I was at the barbershop getting a haircut. She pulled up. She was like, "Well, I need," cause we weren't together no more. So I was trying to.
When did you separate?
August.
And you say you separated in August. Is that when she moved out of your apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
Beginning of August, middle of August, end of August?
It's beginning of August.
Your Honor, that's a lie. I haven't been in his apartment since July because I had caught him sleeping with his other baby mama. So I haven't been in his apartment because of his infidelity. I stayed with him in June.
You say right in your answer that in July you got a security job and I needed to carry a gun for work. I'm licensed to carry and was saving for a gun when he offered to loan me his. Around the same time, I purchased a laptop. That was in July. That's what you just swore to. You just told me a minute ago you only lived there in June.
But what I'm saying is I had moved back home. We were on and off because he was had of infidelity. He was sleeping with his baby mother.
How much did you give her for the laptop?
$400.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $400. We're done.
Please excuse me. Step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
You came over there, you was waving that gun, and I'm going to bust your across the head.
He's a felon, by the way.
You came over there, you weren't returning a gun, first of all, because I never gave you a gun.
A felon, so he's not supposed to have a gun.
I'm not supposed to have a gun, exactly.
He called me over there to bring the gun, and that's when I got hit in the mouth.
You came over there, how can you get hit when you got a gun in your hand?
Because he set me up to get hit in the mouth and I have a permanent scar, but...
You got the gun in your hand, and you talking about I set you up to get hit, which I took you to the hospital that night, Victoria.
By his ex-girlfriend.
She could say anything.
Because I was arguing with him.
I'm going to put a restraining order on her. That's what I'm going to do.
I mean, I have nothing to say to him.
I think he had a crush on me.
I don't care what you think.
A loan ends a long-term friendship.
Did you tell him what the $1,850 was for?
I told him it was for my rent and my deposit. He said, I think I could be able to do that for you with no problems. We just can't tell my husband.
And a marriage is put to the test.
Now I want you to tell me about the assault.
He is right. My husband was unaware of this loan. He pushed me when I told him to keep his mouth shut and leave.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
William and Linwood Bielfeldt are suing William's co-worker, Roderick Grant, for...
Order. All rise. It's case number 293 on the calendar in the matter of Bielfeldt versus Grant.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Who's William Bielfeldt?
I am, Your Honor.
And you're Linwood?
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't loan the defendant any money?
No, ma'am.
And it's not alleged that you assaulted him at all?
No, ma'am.
You can sit down. I don't know why you're a plaintiff. Do you know why he's a plaintiff?
Yes, ma'am, because he's my husband and he's on the account that we withdrew money to loan him.
No,
but he was
wasn't
not
involved.
knowledgeable of it.
He was not involved.
Correct.
Well, then he's not a plaintiff. Now, you, Mr. Bielfeldt, and Mr. Grant worked together.
Yes, ma'am.
And it is your claim that Mr. Grant came to you and told you that he was sort of in dire straits financially, needed some money to relocate, needed first month's rent and security deposit, and you made a loan to him. In what amount?
$1,850.
And that was for a month's rent and a month's security?
Correct, ma'am.
On a new apartment. And when did you give him that money?
We began talking about it on April 3rd. I gave him the actual money on April 6th.
How long had you worked together?
We've worked together for a total of 4 years, but I've known him for 10 years, Your Honor.
And exactly what did he say to you?
On the 3rd of April, we were driving into work. Anyhow, he was having an issue at home.
Had you done that for a long time?
Yes. And he had told me that he was having issues at home, which he has been telling me prior to that, but leading up to the April 3rd. On April 3rd, he told me that it's gotten so bad that he was probably going to have to stay in his car. As a friend and as a nice person.
Who were you living with at the time?
Well, I was already staying in another place, but I had to move out of there because it was in a bad neighborhood.
When you say you were having trouble at home, were you living with somebody at home?
I was having trouble in that neighborhood that I had moved to before that. It was like a very bad neighborhood, and I was getting a lot of like people messing with me, assaulting me, and things like that. So I had to move from out of that neighborhood.
Okay, and is that what you told the plaintiff?
I told him that because I needed to move because I wasn't happy with the situations that I was in.
And did you tell him that you were in need of money?
No, I was not. I did not tell him that I was in need of money. He generally...
No. pay attention.
Okay.
Before the 3rd of April of this year, had you ever given Mr. Bleifeld money yourself as
No.
either a gift or a loan?
No.
Before April the 3rd, had Mr. Bleifeld given you money? Before April the 3rd?
No, not before
no.
April 3rd.
And you've known him for 10 years?
Yes, ma'am.
So now you know somebody for 10 years. There's never been this back and forth with either gifts or loans of any money. So something clearly had to be said, Mr. Grant, in order for him, because you don't deny that he gave you $1,850. Issue is for you to explain to me how you have a friendship with somebody with whom you are employed and why there would be an exchange of this specific amount of $1,850. We're not talking about $200 or $500 or $1,000. We're talking about $1,850. You have to explain to me how that $1,850 came about so that I accept your explanation.
Well, to be truthfully honest with you, sir,
I want you to be dishonest with me.
I'm going to be dishonest with you, but I mean,
You're going to be dishonest with me.
I felt like that.
Just a second. Did you just say you're
no,
going to be dishonest?
No, I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh, good. Okay, so I want you to be very honest with me, and I want you to explain to me why this man who you've known for 10 years, who you work with for 4 years, who you've never had financial dealings with before, would give you this odd amount of money, $1,850. I want you to tell me how that came about.
Well, I think he had a crush on me.
I don't care what you think.
Because he would always buy me dinner.
No, listen to me. Pay careful attention to me. I want you to tell me. I don't care what you think. All I want to know is how it came about that he gave you. What did you say to him? What did he say to you that inspired $50? Just that amount.
I told him I was having apartment situations, and it would be nice.
And?
It would be nice if I could probably get some assistance. And
keep going.
He offered.
No. Nice get if I some assistance. I want to know the words.
I'm telling you the words.
So those are the words. It would be nice if I could get some assistance. Shh, just a minute.
I didn't.
And then he said to you, he must have said to you, what kind of assistance? You want me to rent a U-Haul? What do you want me to do? What did he say to you?
And he said, well, I'll be able to help you out. I told him how much I needed.
Well, no, tell me exactly what you said to him. Not, I told him how much I needed. That's not what you said to him. You didn't say, I told you how much I needed. You said, I need $1,850.
Yes, I told him I needed $1,850 to move into my new place.
In order to?
And to move into my new place.
Okay. And did you tell him what the $1,850 was for?
I told him it was for my rent and my deposit.
Okay, so you told him you needed $1,850 first month's rent and security deposit.
That is correct.
Okay, and then what did he say to you?
He said, well, I think I could be able to do that for you with no problems. We just can't tell my husband.
And then what happened? That was on April 3rd, so tell me what happened.
And throughout that time...
Don't look up. Look here.
Throughout that time, he...
Throughout what time?
The money, he was still flirting with me.
I love it. I love it. Let's play it. Just a second. Mr. Bleifeld.
Yes.
I want you got to listen with your ears and keep your mouth shut because God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. What Mr. Grant just said was, during the time when he loaned me the money. That's what he just said. Now, he may not have realized what he just said, but that's what he said.
And that's what happened.
Good. Fine. $1,850. Now we're going to talk about the second part of your lawsuit, which is you say that at some point Mr. Grant returned to you $200.
That is correct.
Had you originally given him $1,850?
I did, and he paid me $200 in the beginning of June.
So that means he owes you $1,650.
That is correct.
And when did he give you the $200?
The beginning of June. I was with my husband. We were walking around a Pride festival in our city.
No, just a second. Did you give him $200?
No.
You didn't?
I didn't give him any.
Oh, so you still have an $1,850 loan. Okay, so you didn't give him $200. Shh. 2 of these, 1 of these. Do you understand?
Yes.
He knows how to dig it. All you have to do is give him a shovel.
I'd just like to be honest.
Just a second. No. Mr. Grant wants to be honest. He says, I didn't give him $200. And I believe you.
Yes.
Good, I believe you. You didn't give him $200, so you owe him $1,850. Now I want you to tell me about the assault.
Yes, Your Honor. On the beginning of April, as I said, I gave him this loan. The end of
We're past that.
Okay. End of April, it was the last day of our seasonal employment as we work for a seasonal job. It was the last day he dropped me off at home. In between the trip at home, I asked him when will I be getting my money back because it was off season. I wouldn't be seeing him at work. He indicated that he would give it to me within a month. So we got home. We were still arguing about the date and time that he was going to bring me my money. I got out of the car. He got out of the car screaming and hollering at me. Again, he is right. My husband was unaware of this loan.
Got it.
When my husband heard the argument that was happening outside, he came from the house to see what was going on. He ended up telling my husband that I indeed gave him a loan. As I got upset and I was mad because, I'm more concerned about my relationship at home.
I got it.
He pushed me when I told him to keep his mouth shut and leave. He pushed me, broke a chair. I got a mark on, that's on my arm, and I have proof to show that I suffered pain.
Just a second. Did you file a police report?
No, I did not.
Why not?
Why? Because I was too concerned about making amends with my husband because I was...
Just a second. I just wanted to know if you filed a police report. Do you have any medical records?
I'm sorry?
Medical records.
No, I do not.
Judgment.
Always are excused, you may step out.
That's what friends are for. If he wasn't trying to holler at me or trying to flirt with me, we probably would never had this problem.
He says that's what friends are for. That's not what friends are for. Friends are supposed to be trusted. He was untrusted.
If we would have had actually agreed upon it and actually made documentation and signed it, I probably would have, but we never did that.
I never just freely gave him money. If I was going to freely give money, I would give it to a nonprofit organization, not him.
It's pushed us away a little bit, but I mean...
There's no more friendship. Friendship should be someone that you trust, and I can't trust him.
He's been my friend for 10 years. I still care about him, but we just won't hang out and be as cool as we used to be.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Calitri versus Duncan. Step forward.
Devin Calitri is suing Clinton Duncan for unpaid car payments and lost wages.
Bird, while I'm doing this and inquiring, would you please look up a 1999 Ford Expedition XLT?
Sure thing.
Okay? Mr. Duncan, I want to start with you. How long have you known the plaintiff?
Since high school, Your Honor.
And she was selling a car. How did you find out she was selling a car?
Through a mutual friend.
And you went and took a look at the car?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
When was that?
Around mid-March.
Did you see any advertisement for the car, or you just heard it by word of mouth?
Just by word of mouth. Sure.
Did you? So you met her in mid-March, and she told you what she wanted for the car?
Yes.
How much did she want for the car?
$1,000.
How old are you?
30 or 43.
I sometimes try to transpose digits myself. Doesn't work. I assume before you went to look at the car that you either went on the internet or got a Kelley Blue Book value of the car.
Yes,
I assume
ma'am.
you did.
Rough estimate.
And what was the rough estimate on the car?
Somewhere around $1,000 to $1,200.
And what source did you use?
Just on the internet, just maybe NADA or something like that.
Do you have a price for the car?
$950.
Is there a range, or it's just $950?
It's between $825 and $950.
Now, I assume that before you went to sell the car, you also looked up its value.
I did, Your Honor.
And I assume a Kelley Blue Book is a Kelley Blue Book.
My Kelley Blue Book value actually came up differently. I did it online. I don't know if that makes any difference at all, but my range going from a fair up to great, excellent condition was $1,800 to $2,800.
I'm going to give you an opportunity to go and find that site for me.
Okay.
Where you looked it up on your Kelley Blue Book online.
Okay.
And then come back.
Okay.
Great.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Lousy in the beginning of this case. Now it's beginning to look a lot better. Got it?
Yes.
Okay. So let's you and I not play with each other.
Right.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Devin Calitri says Clinton Duncan owes for a Ford Expedition she sold him and for lost wages. Clinton is countersuing for a signed title to the vehicle.
Okay, got it for me?
I do, Your Honor.
I'd like to take a look at it.
And I did it in private sale to in good condition, which is the second to the lowest rating you could put on the car.
Your Blue Book value, Kelley Blue Book official guide. Could I see yours, Bird? 1999 Ford. What kind of car was yours?
A Ford Expedition. It was an XLT model.
Ford Expedition. Well, you know, they have an auction, very good, $825 to $950 if you bought it at auction. But then the retail value is $25.75. She's absolutely right. Got it? Okay, now you can take this down. $2,500. You gave her $1,000 down. You were supposed to pay off the rest in 8 payments. You made 2 payments. That's what she says. Her story's beginning to look a lot better. It was beginning to look lousy in the beginning of this case. Now it's beginning to look a lot better. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's you and I not play with each other.
Right.
Good?
Good.
So you paid her $200 of the $800 that you owed her, and then you stopped paying. You want to tell me why?
Yes, Your Honor. The four-wheel drive was inoperable.
What?
The four-wheel drive was inoperable.
Okay, so now we come down to it. So you stopped paying her. You paid her $200. You were driving the car. You paid her $200 over several months, correct?
Well, I paid her the $200 for the taxes and transfer, but it wasn't toward the vehicle.
Yes, it was. What do you pay her taxes and transfer? You don't pay her taxes. She's not transferring it. You're transferring it. Pay your own taxes and transfer. Now, you paid her the $1,000 on what date, Mr. Duncan?
On or around March 22nd.
Is that the day you picked up the car?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that the day she gave you the title?
Yes, Your Honor.
And she trusted you to make the payments?
I didn't make a payment. I think I gave it to her then. I think.
You what?
I paid it to her then. I'm pretty sure.
Through what?
I don't have the dates.
You think I have a little bit of a hearing problem. You're muttering. Do you think that between the two of these we're not going to get to the bottom of this?
In a moment.
Do you not recall that either?
No, Your Honor.
You know, unless I get the truth from you, you're not going to get a signed over title. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I hope you have a nice bathroom where you can wallpaper that thing. You want to start again?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Devin Calitri says Clinton Duncan owes for a Ford Expedition she sold him and for lost wages. Clinton is countersuing for a signed title to the vehicle.
Now, you started to have mechanical problems with the car, so you stopped paying her.
Well, it had mechanical problems when I took possession of it.
Who cares? That's your problem. When did he make his first payment?
He made his first payment on May the 10th of 2016. He paid $100 in cash to actually our mutual friend that had arranged the sale of the car.
He paid
$100 cash.
Who did he give the cash to?
Our mutual friend, Kevin.
Name?
Kevin.
Kevin what? You know Kevin? Because somebody has his phone number. It's very easy to figure out. You know Kevin?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that the mutual friend through whom you found out she was selling the car?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you give Kevin $100 on or about May 10th to give her? That's very easy. I call Kevin. Did you give Kevin $100?
Not that I recall, Your Honor. I don't have.
Now that's better. Not that I recall is better. Now, do you not recall? When was the next payment?
June the 15th of 2016, he gave Kevin a $100 Visa gift card to give to me.
Do you not recall that either?
No, Your Honor.
Don't recall it. You know, unless I get the truth from you, you're not going to get a signed over title. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You want to start again?
I assumed that we were done when the title was signed over to me, and that was it.
Well, you have a counterclaim. You want her to sign the title over to you correctly.
Yes, Your Honor.
I can either order her or I can not order her to do that. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now we're going to start again. Do you remember giving Kevin a Visa on June 15th?
No, Your Honor. I do.
No. Well, I hope you have a nice bathroom where you can wallpaper that thing. Was that the last payment that you got from him?
Yes, Your Honor. And I do have text messages of him promising to send future payments that never arrived.
I'd like to see.
I can tell you the date that the messages were on. On April the 20th, I asked him if he's filed the title, and he said he had not had time, and he requests my address because he's going to send a payment to me. On 4/28, I followed up with him and asked him if he'd mailed anything to me yet because I had not received anything.
See, this is the problem.
Closed captioning sponsored by.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You're entitled to your money. You're entitled to your $600. Unless you sign the title over properly, you're going to remain liable for this car. You don't want to do that, right?
I do not, Your Honor.
So my suggestion is that you sign the title over to him, give the title to Bird, and he's not going to get the title back or any other fees back until there's proof that he is registering the car. Do you understand?
I do, Your Honor.
Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because now this has been going on for quite some time. When for the first time did you go and try to register the car?
I'm not 100% sure of the date, but when I went down there, I couldn't get it transferred.
I don't care. You picked up the car on the 22nd of March. On what date did you go down to the DMV? And that would be the date that you would contact her and say, I can't register this car.
We met each other down there, Your Honor.
And
something happened. We couldn't get it done that day, so then it was mailed to me and not completely filled out, and I couldn't transfer it then either. So it needed more signatures.
Whose signature? Hers.
Yes.
Okay. I would sign a judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $600.
Your Honor, wait, I did have a claim also for...
I know, you had a claim for your time.
I do, and Your Honor, the defendant lives almost 4 hours away from me, and I had received word from a mutual friend that he was not in town on weekends, so I had to take 2 days off work to go there to repossess
I'm not
the
giving you any
vehicle.
more money. $600 is what he owes you. Sign the title in the right place. We're done.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Of course, I'm pleased with her decision, as it was the right thing to do.
I've got a $3,000 estimate for the four-wheel drive to be repaired, and that's the main reason I bought the vehicle.
I just feel bad. I tried to help a friend out, and he let me down.
She lives 4 or 5 hours away from me, and
I actually had the car inspected before I sold it, and I had a full mechanical write-up of it.
I just went on her word. Probably not the best decision in the world.
Because I hadn't decided if I wanted to get rid of the car or purchase a new car myself.
Get them inspected first.
Cash up front.
Patient presents to the emergency room tonight for a burn. Patient is on PCP. You are so high on drugs that you were in an altered state.
Did substance abuse cloud her memory?
It is your claim that she came into the bedroom while you were sleeping and poured boiling water on you.
Yes, correct.
No, don't send me Judge Judy. I know who I am. You're lucky you're not doing 10 years.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Kylie Jones is suing her former roommate, Octavia Canby, for medical bills resulting from an assault.
Order. All rise. It's case number 279 on the calendar in the matter of Jones versus Canby.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Miss Jones, were you and Miss Canby roommates?
Yes.
From when to when?
From May to about July.
Of this year?
Of 2015.
Did you live in her apartment or did she live in yours?
No, I was living in actually Vanita's apartment, which is her sister.
So you were living in Vanita's apartment, then you moved in with them?
No, that's my sister, and I was living there.
So it's her apartment, the two of you were living together, and you moved in?
Yes.
As a roommate? Okay. And it is your claim that she came into the bedroom while you were sleeping and poured boiling water on you?
Yes, correct.
Do you have a police report?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take a look at it. So this indicates that officers responded to the scene, that burns were caused by hot water that Miss Canby had allegedly thrown at Miss Jones. It seems that all three females had been smoking dust for most of the night. It is unclear what had occurred in the apartment because the females were too high on dust to speak. In any case, Joan was transported to St. Francis Hospital. So is it accurate that the three of you were doing drugs that night?
No, Your Honor,
Well,
it's not.
Is there any reason why you think that this officer would write this?
Yeah, the officer is a Fugazi officer.
Is a what?
Fugazi officer.
This is Hartford Police Department.
Yeah. He's Fugazi.
What does that mean?
That means he's fake. Why would she not be arrested for this, Your Honor?
The person who filled out this form is a police officer in the Hartford Police Department. He's not a fake. Now, you have your medical records?
Yes, I
the
do.
13th? I'd like to take a look at them, including the admission records. Okay, listen, you admitted to the doctor who admitted you to the hospital that all of you were smoking PCP that night. You said a young female evaluated as a core trauma. Patient states she smoked PCP with a friend this evening. Friend later accused her of stealing her laptop Patient was sleeping without wearing any clothes and reports friend dumped a pot of boiling water on her. Patient found outside the complex wearing a hospital gown. Patient reports PCP and marijuana today. That's what you told the doctor.
No, that's not what I told the
So
doctor.
you mean the police officer got it wrong and the doctor who admitted you to the hospital got it wrong? So both?
Your
So
Honor.
there's a fake police officer. I'm not suggesting that this incident didn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out what happened that night.
Well, Your Honor, I would like to tell you what happened.
What?
I would like to tell you what happened.
First, I have to make myself clear that you had a head to even remember what happened.
Okay.
Did you accuse her of stealing a laptop?
She did. She stole my laptop and she stole my clothes. She was stealing from me in my sister's house.
She was stealing for you while she was living in the house, in your sister's house with you. And is that...
And I don't do drugs, Your Honor.
Just a second. Is that an argument that you had that evening?
That's not true, Your Honor.
Let me read to you, and I'm going to let you tell your story, but these medical records of that night are very telling to me. These are the doctors who examined you. Patient presents to the emergency room tonight for a burn. Patient is on PCP and is quite altered. She is a very unreliable historian. She reports that someone dumped a pot of boiling water onto her lap. Patient reports at times that this occurred, she was wearing no clothes. Patient presents to the emergency room wearing a hospital Johnny. She cannot tell me why she is wearing this. Patient has sustained second-degree burns covering approximately 9% of her body's surface. It involves her upper thighs and inner thighs. Her groin specifically has significant edema, blistered. Patient has been given IV fluids. Contacted the burn center. Okay. Let me tell you first, Miss Canby, that the only thing that she's consistent about in these reports, even in her altered state, is that you poured boiling water on her. Now, if she was the only one that was high in the house, I don't know. So, before I finish the medical records and see if your story is consistent with that, I want you to tell me, listen to me carefully, your story about what happened on July the 13th. Go.
Judge Judy.
No, don't say me Judge Judy.
Okay.
I know who I am.
Okay. That is totally not what
No,
happened.
Just a second. I want you to tell me what happened.
When I came home from school, she was in the house. She wasn't supposed to be there. She didn't pay my sister her portion of the rent. So we was in the kitchen, and I'm like, Kylie, what are you doing in the house? You're not supposed to be here. You didn't pay my sister a portion of the rent. She was boiling water for coffee that she was drinking, and the handle was out on the stove. She was not laying down or anything.
No, don't tell me what she wasn't. I'm reading the medical records. I want you to tell me what happened. So she was boiling water on the stove.
We was in the kitchen, and then we got into the argument, and as she went to push me, the handle was sticking out from the pot of water, and the water came all down here on her.
That's not true.
Not consistent with the medical records, your story. I read what you said in the answer. But the medical records, what the doctors observed of where the injuries were on her inner thigh, this story that you just told me of water being spilled. If it's spilled, it's on the outer section of your thigh.
Yeah.
Unless she was standing with her legs gesprayt.
Yeah.
Totally gesprayt boiling water.
Exactly.
Do you understand? So the story that you give me is a whole lot of who shot John.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's a whole lot of who shot John.
Yep.
And the reason, it wasn't a fake police officer.
It was.
Because what you say is you were lying in bed naked and she came in and poured scalding water on you.
Yeah.
The medical records...
I said he was fugazi because he did not arrest her.
Listen to me. I don't know what you're on now. I don't care. I don't care. The reason that they didn't arrest her, that doesn't mean he's a fake cop, is because you were so high that night that when they asked her what happened, she gave this cockamamie story, and since they couldn't get a cogent story from you because you were so high, they said, she tells me, she's looking at me like a basset hound with those eyes that say, I'm telling you the truth. That's the way she spoke to the cop. and that's why she wasn't arrested. I don't believe her, because the cops certainly didn't look at these medical records, because the medical records are totally inconsistent with
In the apartment when the cops showed up. She had fled the scene when the cops showed up.
The reason that they didn't take you seriously is because you were so high on drugs that you were in an altered state. Do you understand?
No.
That doesn't mean she didn't do it.
Okay.
I'm telling you that the reason that the police didn't take you seriously was because you were on another planet. Do you understand? That doesn't excuse her behavior. But you asked me a question. You said he's a fake cop. He's not a fake cop. He couldn't get anything from you, neither could the doctor. Because according to the doctor who examined you, you were so high and in such an altered state, he couldn't get a history. The only thing that you were able to tell him was that somebody poured boiling water on you. And the medical records are totally consistent with that story. Do you understand?
Yes.
So you're partially to blame for the fact that they didn't arrest her. Do you understand? How old are you?
I'm 36.
Why don't you go into rehab?
I did.
For how long?
For about 2 months.
Didn't work. You know, you're lucky you're not doing 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you're lucky you're not doing 10 years. Because if somebody put this all together, lots of drug people on the night of the 13th, which is what you say, we were all smoking at night. I mean, every single page says, from every different doctor who examined you, it says disoriented and high on PCP, uncooperative and substance abuse, flat affect. That's why. What she did was terrible.
Yeah.
What she did was terrible.
Yeah.
They didn't take you seriously.
Yeah.
And that is not an excuse for them. But part of the reason they didn't take you seriously is because you were your own worst enemy.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
That's it. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're done here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Officers are excused. You may step out.
Because I'm scarred for life.
She was so high out of her mind, she don't even know what happened.
Well, I wasn't smoking PCP that night. I was smoking marijuana. That's why I fell asleep.
She don't even remember that she bumped into the water and the water spilled on her. I did not pour any water on Kylie.
And oh my God, I'm an emotional wreck.
I love my sister always. Blood is thicker than water. I will always love my sister.
We all used it. We all used it. So, there you go.
I advise them to get off the drugs and know what the heck is going on in their life.
Use and marijuana use and everything.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Ponce versus Nunez step forward.
21-year-old Kevin Ponce is suing his ex-roommate, Ida Nunez, for the return of belongings she stole from him.
Mr. Ponce, you were looking for a roommate and put an ad on Craigslist, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Nunez needed a place to live. You have some children?
Yes, ma'am.
How many?
2.
You answered the ad and you took a room in his, is it a house, a condo?
It's an apartment.
You and your 2 children moved in with him. What was the rent?
$500 a month.
When did you move in?
July.
When did you move out?
July 15th. That's a lie.
You paid him the $500?
I did.
You moved out July 15th. You want to tell me why?
Because of marijuana and alcohol abuse in the house. That's a lie, too, Your Honor.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If they're not going to tell me that you were there in May and June, I hate when my time is wasted.
Well, I would like to let you know that when I did leave Washington State, I moved in with my mother.
You're a fibber!
I'm a what?
Fibber!
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Kevin Ponce's ex-roommate Ida Nunez stole
The case is about, so that we understand what the case is about, you claim that when she moved out, she took property that belonged to you.
Yes, ma'am.
You know that she took property that belonged to you because she saw some of the property in her house. She said she didn't take any property that belongs to you. Tell me when she moved out.
She moved out without my knowledge.
I need a date.
Yes, ma'am. July 12th.
Now, she gave you $500. That was the month's rent for July.
I would like to say that she moved in May 13th, 2016.
May?
Yes, ma'am.
Not July.
Not July.
Is that right?
No.
How many times did she pay you rent?
2 times. For May and June.
Where were you living in May?
I was in Seattle, Washington.
With whom?
Samantha Merritt. and my 2 children.
Where were you living in Seattle, Washington in May?
I was living in downtown Seattle.
Give me the address and the landlord's name and number.
It's Metropolitan Park. The address is 502.
Was it your apartment or hers?
It was my apartment.
Okay, so give me the landlord's name.
Metropolitan Park Apartments.
No. It must be in your phone. This is a current thing. I want the person who you paid your rent to who's going to tell me that you were living there in May.
It's not a landlord. It's an actual apartment complex.
Well, that's all right. You have to pay rent to somebody.
Right. Metropolitan Park Apartments.
Right, but there's an office.
Yes, there is.
Great. I want the number. My time.
I'm not.
Miss Nunez, if they're not going to tell me that you were there in May and June, I hate when my time is wasted.
Well, I would like to let you know that when I did
Just
move...
a second.
Okay.
I don't like to have my time wasted. If you were there, and all they will do is verify that you were a tenant there in May and June, then we'll move on. Then I'll know that he was telling me a fib that you moved in May.
If I may, when I did leave Washington State, I moved in with my mother.
You're a fibber.
I'm a what?
Fibber.
Okay.
Liar.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so you moved in May.
Okay. I have the phone number.
Well, what difference does it make? You weren't living there. I asked you where you were living. You told me that's where you were living. When I was going to call, you said, well, I wasn't really living there. I was living with my mother.
Only for a month.
What month?
June.
Clearly, she's a liar, Your Honor.
I know. I know she is.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You know, I know you took his property because he never came to your job until after his property was taken. That's what that is going to show me. I mean, you're just not smart. You're not only a thief, you're not a very smart thief.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Ida Nunez stole his belongings when she moved out.
Now, where did you go when you moved out July 15th?
Tampa, Florida.
And where do you live?
Right now, I live in a different...
No, where was she renting a room? In what state?
This is in Florida, Orlando, Florida.
Why did you move to Tampa?
Because that's my hometown.
Your Honor, that's a lie, too. Okay.
Don't speak. Who did you move in with in Tampa?
Family.
Who?
My mother.
When she moved out, you claim she took a whole bunch of your property. What did she take?
She took my TVs, my Xbox console, my bag full of electronics.
You have a police report?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to take a look at it.
Absolutely.
Your name's Samantha?
Yes, it is. Your Honor, may I make a comment about the move to Tampa?
No.
She's the accomplice. She's the...
Shh.
Nobody asked you.
Okay. You say she moved out on the 12th?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you at home at any time on the 12th?
No, ma'am. I left at 3 p.m. to go to work.
On the 12th? So you were at home before 3 p.m. Your mattress on your bed.
Yes, ma'am.
And all of your electronics were there.
Yes.
And what time did you return from work?
I get out at 11. I got home at 11:30.
And when you got home at 11:30, is that when you found all these items missing?
Yes, ma'am.
And when did you call the police?
Right away.
And that's when they responded with this?
Yes.
Now, you didn't move in with your mother right away when you left his house, right? Because it's a far distance. I am a Floridian, so I know that it's not a commute from Tampa to Orlando, where your mother lives. So your job. So if you were still at your job, where were you living when you left the plaintiff's apartment?
I actually wasn't.
Speak. Don't. Where were you living after you left the plaintiff's apartment?
I moved to Tampa, Florida.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
And you commuted to work?
No, I did not. I was actually laid off due to harassment.
You say that he...
I have a trespass warning.
Just a second. Listen to me.
I have a trespass.
Listen to me carefully.
Go ahead.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, I know you took his property. Question in my mind that you and your girlfriend took his property because he never came to your job until after his property was taken.
Exactly.
That's what that is going to show me. I mean, you're just not smart. You're not only a thief, you're not a very smart thief.
I would have
So
been
you
arrested.
claim that he came to your job after you moved out and after his property was taken. And I'm asking you, if you were still at the same job, where were you living? You weren't living with your mother because your mother lives in Tampa. You lived in Orlando.
You keep saying I lived in Orlando and I worked in Orlando. I'm telling you I did not.
She did. She worked at Ingenuity. I called the place and talked to her.
Just a second.
Go ahead.
You say that in your answer.
Right. And he harassed me there.
I don't care whether
but
he
I
harassed
didn't
you or not. He
immediately
wanted
get
his
out of
stuff
his
back.
apartment and
Judgment for
move.
the plaintiff in the amount of $3,600. Your counterclaim's dismissed. You're a
Sounds
thief.
great.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
She was normal, but obviously at the end of the day, her true colors came out, and she's a thief.
That never happened, and I had proof that it didn't happen.
My backpack full of electronics was in her car
My backpack?
the day after the incident happened.
He can say all he wants. He can say all my stuff is his.
Horrible. It's horrible.